Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're live.
Hello. We've made it.
Apologies for the technical difficulties. We're alive, intact. I sure hope they're not playing the game because they haven't done the draft.
Let's hope they haven't. It seems that they are not in game potentially.
Oh, no, I don't think they are. I think we're all good.
Sweet.
Very good. Well, we have tonight the two remaining undefeated Division 2 teams. Of course, Feline Friends have been on a bit of a tear. And Coven as well, actually completely undefeated. I think they have like an 8-0 game score.
Very impressive, very impressive. And we've got some big names, some big community members on both sides of the board. You know, players like Kickman, Envious of Me, Pretz, Fat Cones 420, these are names synonymous with the OBL, up against Mordhau and Fancy, two of the biggest members of this community. And I'm missing out a couple of other big stars there, but those names are the ones that jump off the paper to me, and I'm sure they do to you, Chef, as well.
I think, yeah, I think these guys are all, big names. Names that have been around for a while, especially in Div 2. For anyone who's wondering what's going on the screen, these are just post-game screenshots that we've had that they posted. So apologies if they're crap, I didn't take them. Just kind of flicking through their results over the course of this season of the OBL. And I think the standout to me, believe it or not, I was looking through and I'm like, how do you beat BL? How do you beat FF? How do you beat Feline Friends? You know, what's the secret sauce? Because they've dropped a couple of games. They're not unbeatable. And there's a pattern, Grunky. There's a pattern.
What is that pattern, mate?
If Fat Cones 420 is not doing well, if he has a bad game, Feline Friends tend to also do poorly as a team. Their results don't usually, have them out super far ahead. So when you see these, like if you see any of their defeats come up, you'll notice like all of the victories Cones does reasonably well. And in all of their defeats, he has had what looks like a shocking time in game. So I think, all eyes on Fat Cones of all people.
May 15th, I did a little bit of a tier list for the Div 2, and I wrote, this is for Fat Cones, I wrote, a fat rip of a champion pool dies an insane amount of times in ranked, but has also slid into Emerald 4. Could either be ranked C or ranked S, depending on if they can tame the beast. And tonight, mate, they're gonna have to tame the beast to be able to take down the feline, or no, take down the Conclave, rather. Or the Feline Friends, it's all about internal struggles here in Division 2 and whether or not they can tame their inner demons and get out there on the Rift and play a clean game of League of Legends.
Yeah, exactly right. I think it's going to be all on whether we can see Angel Cake hold his own. He historically they kind of just put him on weak side duty, so it's going to be a question of whether he can keep Cones occupied. Deal with. I mean, this guy just perma-fights. He genuinely. There is only one other person who I know who likes fighting quite as much as Fat Cones. You might know him as well. His name's Grunky Peep.
Yep, that is. I can't argue. I like a good swang and bang, especially in a solo lane. If I'm squaring up with someone in a solo lane and their jungler or their support pulls up to my lane, I lose a lot of respect for that person because it just signals to me that, hey, the pressure's mounting. It's not about the wave.
They are actually already underway, by the way. They didn't let me know that they were going ahead, and I'm a bit slow on the uptake. We are now in draft. Okay. If you need the drafter link, you can let me know. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks. Yep, all good, all good. There we go. You should be speaking again, Grunky. Maybe? Let's see. Let's try this again. Now you should be good. Alright, you should be good to go, Grunky.
Awesome. Yeah, so having a little look at this draft, it has been the first pick, Smolder, coming out, answered by the Ash Seraphine, so obviously a lot of pressure from that lane is going to be going onto the small red dragon. Just going back over to the bans, we do see the Ambassador has been taken away from Fancy, so it's a targeted ban. And then some bot laners have been taken away, including Vlad as well. So, potentially, looking to take away some heavy scaling. Looks like Feline Friends are specking into the hard scaling aspect of it all, though.
I think letting Smolder through for Cat Slayer is a choice. I'm not sure it's the one I would have made necessarily. I think Smolder is like his signature pick, so I think that it is a bold move to pick to kind of just like let Smolder through and go, yeah, right, we tank it. Urgot as well. This is really a Cone special. It's like his most played. He absolutely loves it. So
Yeah, well, comfort, honestly, in this division trumps everything. You know, if you're on a comfort pick and you're feeling good, then that's a really good way to play the game, because things like Ash Seraphine do require some level of execution. Obviously, with the Ash Seraphine, it's not an extreme level of execution, but some level of execution is required. And, you know, under the pressure of an undefeated matchup, sometimes people can shift. Sometimes people can have a bit of the shakes, the pressure, and a couple Ash ults can go wide, a couple Encores can also go wide. So, yeah, I always like drafting for comfort.
I 100% agree, and I couldn't agree more. In fact, I think that 9 times out of 10 you'll get more out of a champion you're comfortable on than you will out of a champion who's just strong on patch. Um, I think the gains from strong on patch champions are only relevant if the champion's really, really strong on patch, or if you're just really good at the game. For some of these, these Div 2 teams, I think it's absolutely acceptable to pick something that's not super strong on patch and is just fine, as long as it's something that they're really comfortable on. I think you get good mileage out of it still.
So we've got two big brawly boys in the top lane, two juggernauts in the Mordekaiser and the Urgot.
Mm.
They're going to be trading back and forth, and it's exactly kind of what we want to see from the top lanes here.
Double ban on jungle from Feline Friends. Obviously, big respect being given to insert name here. I think, to me, he's kind of the secret sauce of this game, right? Like, I think it lives and dies on how well he does.
Absolutely, and then obviously a staple jungler here in the Xin Zhao fits into pretty much every single comp, but especially works well with the Seraphine with the speed ups, the shields. He likes getting in there and getting his hands dirty, being able to disengage and create some space for the Ashe as well. Ahri being the blind mid laner that they are going for, and then they will also be taking this jungler last pick. So no counter picks for Feline Friends, but they do get the counter pick mid lane for Fancy. So let's see what they have got in mind. Usually I like maybe going either a Silas or a Twisted Fate into that character. You can bust out the Galio if you do like, but I think they do need a little bit more damage. So something like a Silas could go pretty hard right here, as stealing the Urgot ult is really nice as well.
I have to say, I'm not super familiar with Fancy's champ pool. I think it's a lot larger than a lot of people give him credit for. The Hui comes out. You know what's really interesting? He and I were
What's
talking
that?
about this pick about an hour ago, and he said, I don't think you're going to get to see the Hui tonight. He said that there's
Oh,
no way that the draft allows for that, so that it's not happening.
well, White is off of some fresh buffs, so let's see if Fancy can take advantage of that extra little bit of damage on a couple of spells.
I think it's a decent enough matchup. My observation would be Fancy really likes playing characters with lots of buttons to press. He's very into pressing lots of buttons. And Huawei has a whole range of buttons to press, so I think that's right in his comfort zone.
A very high APM character indeed, so let's see if the high APM need is a gift or a curse this game, as Hui does have about 6 different buttons to push at all times. But yeah, I'm liking both of these team comps. Obviously, the Jarvan is a nice way to round out the team comp and is a really nice way to counter the Ashe Seraphine. Neither of them have any mobility, and only really the only character with mobility on Coven is the Xin Zhao, who can jump out of the Cataclysm onto something else. But opposed to that, the Jarvan is going to be getting some heavy value with his Cataclysms this game, and the Ahri is going to be able to dash around the fight and hopefully dodge out on a lot of CC. You know, there are knockups, there are fears, there are snares, there are stuns, there are slows. A lot of CC coming out from Coven.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jarvan is, you know, this quintessential kickman champion, right? Like we've seen it a few times already. Um, we've seen it in previous rounds. He looks comfortable on it. Like he looks really comfortable on Jarvan. And it just gives so much setup. Like this guy gets to just go where he wants and do what he wants, wherever his team needs him. So, like, I don't know. I think Coven have a lot of, you know, like good team fight set up here, but how do you pin down like any of these guys properly? You know, they're all quite slippery.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was very interesting. The last two bans from Coven were the Malphite and the Malzahar, and not the Jarvan. As you were saying, it's a comfort pick for the Feline Friends. And knowing you have that Ashe and that Seraphine, and are potentially leaning towards the Hui pick, leaving that one up might come back to bite them, as I do think it will be a deciding pick. Otherwise, a pretty easy execution of a team comp for the Coven. Just team fight well, disengage, use the Mordekaiser ult to take some key target out of the fight, create a man advantage for the Ashe, the Seraphine, and the Xin Zhao, which is a nice 3-hit combo that can really deal with pretty much any threat available.
Yeah, I mean, the flip side though, if Kickman can get himself a good flank angle, um, you know, or just go to honestly straightforward if that's the flavor he picks. Like if he locks these guys down, they're kind of stuck. If if he's on top of you, good luck getting him off. I think one big juicy cataclysm, that happens to have Way Seraphine and Ashe in it, and it's uh, how do you get out of that? Where do you go from there? Like Smolder's gonna eat that up, Ari's gonna eat that up. So
I've just heard some good news from the players. This game is about to get hotter, as got reports that Fat Cones 420 has just taken his shirt off, in preparation for the game, either to cool down or to get some extra ventilation. I'm not too sure on which. We'll have to report on
I
that
mean,
after the game, but that is a big development for the stakes of this game in general. And
reports
how
reports coming in too from the other side. Some Angel Cake supposedly also taking off some clothes to keep it fair. So where I think it's a lock-in shirt removal. To be honest, you if anyone's into like all of the rock climbing stuff, it's like a focus thing. You know, they take their shirt off so they can climb better.
Yeah, and I can also imagine that if he is taking his shirt off, or it's actually gonna be like a big deal, I think, because that's just gonna, gets a mental sort of edge over the other team, saying, it's actually quite cold at the moment. So if someone is able to just readily take their shirt off, it means that Fat Cones is feeling confident and knows that his internal heating and he's obviously had a big dinner as well, because you wouldn't want to waste a key resource, which is like bodily heat, on waste taking off your shirt before such a big game, unless you knew you had a big dinner in your belly.
I couldn't agree more. I think that um, it's a bold move. I think announcing it to the other team even bolder. I think it's a confidence move. I think Fat Cones is really getting in the zone. Like Urgot obviously gets around without much of a shirt on either. I think it's a headspace thing more than anything.
Mm, absolutely. So I'm definitely pumped for this one. The players have not entered the lobby yet, so we will be waiting at least 4 minutes until we get into the action of the Rift.
Yeah, we're just
So
waiting for
we're gonna
some
do a quick, yeah,
players
shout
to.
out to everyone who is in chat right now, having a good time talking about. Shout out to my man Celtex. He is out there hanging out, doing what he can.
Celtics out here leaking Cones' home arrival time. Good on him. But no, I think this is it's an interesting series to watch because I think that you know there's some characters in here, and I think that both sides have characters that people are keen to kind of I think there's a little bit of hate watching going on maybe as well. Um, so be interesting to see whether we've got people here out of support or people here out of spite, but uh, I think that should be a good game either way.
Unfortunately, Glizzer, I cannot be beers deep into this cast. I've got an early morning training tomorrow, so I don't want to be too hungover, as a
Yeah,
couple beers right now will add up to a bad time in the morning. But you betcha on Friday, I'll be enjoying a couple of beers with my scrims. So whoever we're playing, I think we're playing the boys over Interstellar. That'll be a good one because, I'll be enjoying a couple beers. And I'll also be drinking on Monday as well. It's going to be a big UFC card. So,
I like the over under 13 CS a minute for Cat Slayer. That's a nice throwback there, Flato. I'm gonna say under. Cat Slayer Smolder closer usually to like
13,
11 or 12 on a good day.
13 CS a minute.
Oh, that was from the Smurfing incident.
Oh, right.
The allegedly platinum Smolder that we had that was at 13 CS a minute, but that was because of a
Oh,
level 4 mistake in lane, and that was the whole. It was just GG from there.
jeez. Well, that's pretty impressive. That's pretty
That was in
impressive.
that was in Div 1 for a plat player too. Like incredible, truly unprecedented.
Well, shout out to them. I don't think I could do 13 CS in Div 2. Um, but for a social experiment, let me at them. Throw me at them.
Put him in there, see what happens. I think you'd just be too
Yeah,
busy
probably.
fighting to bother CSing.
I reckon we could achieve, if I was in the game with Fat Cones, him and I on the same team, we could get a 100 kill game, potentially. Okay, we're just finally into the champ select, so we'll have another 3 minutes on top of that before we get into game. So, let me know in chat what's going on. How's everyone's week been? Let me know what's everyone's favorite movie. Has anyone watched any good movies lately? Any good TV shows? If you have, drop it in the chat and let us know.
Or any good beers.
Any
Always,
good
always
beers?
looking for a good beer. I mean, obviously Glizzy, he's got he likes his Delayed Pirate Bay. pale
Pirate
ales or
Bay.
something like that.
Ale. Interesting. Well, that sounds pretty tasty. My favorite beer, I gotta say, is free beer. You know, that's a good one. It always tastes sweet.
True, true, true.
Michael Jackson movie goes hard. That sounds good. I was actually watching the Michael Jackson docu-series on Netflix, and that did not go as hard, but it was still pretty good.
Pirate Bay, there it is.
Pirate Bay. So, all the teams are picking up their champs. They're sliding through this nice and briskly after everyone has derobed and gotten ready for the game.
God, let's not get too excited. Deroping's a bit extreme.
I'm very covered up. I'm wearing about 5 layers right now.
Yeah, man.
It is very cold here in New Zealand.
I mean, I'm in a little, like in my little office room with the heater on, so it's not too bad. But you know, I'm still in trackies and like warm socks. We must have Jacob on the OBL YouTube account typing in chat because he's in there talking about beers as well.
Shout out to Jacob. I hope his apartment is empty apart from him tonight, as we wouldn't like any bugs or armed militants in his house.
Yeah,
As there usually
especially
is when he
especially
lives.
no Abrams tanks outside the window. That was just pretty spooky
Yep.
that one time.
Yeah, it was actually a Sherman tank. It was
Oh, was it? Sorry, my
a
bad.
1941 Sherman tank from the World War II.
Oh, good. Cool. I mean, that's
Jacob actually lives in a time paradox, and so that's why he's always talking about things like Toowoomba chicken pizza, I think it was.
I mean, maybe he's managed to get himself some Toowoomba chicken for dinner.
I'm still, yeah, he's gotta do a GoFundMe, and we gotta send him to Toowoomba. It's actually funny, I was watching a video maybe 2 weeks before the Toowoomba incident, and it was about the famous Toowoomba chicken pasta or something, and about how they invented a specific pasta dish in Toowoomba, and that's kind of what they're known for.
Yeah, right. Used to me. I mean, I gotta say, I'm not up to date with all of the, you know, Toowoomba gossip, or the Toowoomba innovations. There you go. Honda Civic had Super Rooster chicken for dinner.
Ah, I actually thought it was a made up place. It sounded like it was from like a Crash Bandicoot location or something. And then I googled it and I remembered the whole Toowoomba pasta thing that I was thinking of. And you know, all the dots connected in my head. It was quite a cerebral moment for me.
It sounds cerebral.
I'm getting news that Toowoomba didn't actually invent the pasta, so sorry if I offended the original location who made that pasta.
Oh god, OBL's first scandal, live on stream.
The delay.
Someplace.
We've got 2 minutes left on the delay. I'm sorry, Intric. Players have taken a long time to get ready to do all their sacrilegious pre-game rituals.
You know, don't stress too much. Surely we can't be far off. You know, like it's only 2 minutes, and then we're in, and then no doubt Fat Cones will be straight into fighting this Mordekaiser.
Indeed, indeed. And let me know in chat, has anyone tried the new Lodal minigame? I just spent about an hour and a half doing it. It was very fun. You build like a little worlds roster and you try and win worlds.
Cat Slayer did it, I think. I saw them posting about it in general chat earlier.
It
And
took
Cat
me about 15 tries, yeah.
Yeah, it said it took him about half an hour to get the Golden Road.
Oh, well, it took me about an hour and a half to do that, which was quite hard.
Oh, well, maybe Cat Slayer is just built different.
He probably is. Well, I was just taking all of the obvious picks, and I was losing to like a team which had Dyrus 2015 on it, and I was like, "What? This cannot be real."
Well, you can't blame 2015 Dyrus. He was um, entertaining at the time.
No, yeah, it definitely was. But statistically, he wasn't like a Darien 2013 or 2012. You know.
I mean, that's fair enough. I honestly, I haven't tried the game. I've just seen that it's there, so can't
Yeah,
say I
go
know
give
what
it a
all the
try.
options
We've
are.
got 30 seconds before we jump into game, so if you want, go give it a go. But
I'm
make sure you
look. I'm not gonna lie. This is my cognitive load running a stream for the first time. I'm not just gonna lol off in the distance. I'll just have the game playing. Everyone else on stream can just continue to watch the draft screen for another 5 minutes while I have a go at this new LOL game. 2015 Dyrus, like 2026 backcones. I actually don't think his power level is quite that high, if I'm being totally honest. I think 2026
honestly,
fat cones
just
is
like
pretty peak.
because of like skill creep and like a player from I don't know 2013 2015 is probably the same skill level as like an emerald player right now in my potentially.
I think
So
that it would
you
be a
know,
closer match than we'd like.
probably I think like ego diff though would get Dyrus over the line. um so there's that.
We are in game. Let me do the thing and then do the other thing and then bada bing, bada boom. How's that? Look at us go.
And I'm just gonna make sure at the same time I am at 25 seconds right now.
You might be ahead of me.
Yep, let me know and I will jump back.
Oh,
40 seconds now.
sorry, I'm at 42, 43, 44,
Yeah,
45.
yeah, we're saying epic. Epoch. All right. Everything's chilling. They managed to get a nice sneaky ward on that blue buff of Kickman, so they're going to know exactly where he is starting. The junglers will be taking parallel paths down the map to the spot side, so could see some interesting action unfold on this scuttle.
Trading really aggressively early, which I think you kind of have to do here, right? Like Catslayer on his Smolder is like his signature pick, right? Like that's if I was picking a Catslayer pick, it would I think same as everyone else would be Smolder. So I think making him miserable for as long as possible really is the goal to kind of keep him under control.
Ash level 1 is also really potent, so making sure you get as much advantage out of that pick level 1 as you can. But Braum is also a very strong level 1 pick. I don't think you'd want to sacrifice too much HP in that lane for trading. But I think now just they got the shove in. The Smolder doesn't mind it too much. Just farm under tower, let the wave, come to you. Let the wave get low so you can get as many Qs off as possible. Get those stacks up. And get to those 2-5 thresholds so you can start executing people.
I have to say, I think it's interesting that Angel Cake is on Mordekaiser. They usually put him on weak side duty. I think he's still probably on neutralized duty, but Mordekaiser maybe not like the typical weak side pick. You maybe expect like an Ornn or a Scion, or he's played a little bit of Maokai and stuff like that too.
Ooh, nice trade coming out for Angel Cake though, as Fat Cones dives in to take about half of his HP away. Mordekaiser can be a nice side laner, as you do have that ult to turn a fight into a 1v1. So if another person, the jungler, the support, shows up to your lane, just chuck one of them in the realm, 1v1 them, and if you can come out on top, you steal those extra stats, and then at that point, the 2v1 is a little bit easier to manage. But some good trading coming up. Kickman has made his way to the bottom lane, is going for the gank rather then going for the scuttle. Insert name here has come up, and Pretz is a little bit too far up the lane. The wind become lightning, hits onto Pretz. He's going to get this first blood here, but will they? Oh, they don't. Are they going to be able to trade one back onto Insert? No, they don't. Kickman throws down the spear and slides out, but a nice counter gank there from Insert Names here.
I think great read, great call. You know, played safe by the Coven bot lane there, and but just like fully ready to turn around and punish Pretz. I think Pretz is a really big enabler of Cat Slayer. I've been saying it to whoever will listen to me. That's a short list for quite some time. Like, I think Cat Slayer is a solid player, but I think that Pretz is also a big part of the recipe for his success. And so, you know, kind of keeping Pretz out of the way, not letting him stoke all the pressure that is usually directed at Cat Slayer is, you know, sometimes just as helpful.
It looks like that bottom scuttle hasn't been taken. Inserts opting to clear from top to bottom again, trying to just keep a good tempo on those camps. We'll probably just find out that this bottom scuttle is still available, and we'll be able to finish off their second clear with that. So they should both be hitting level 6 roughly around the same time, which will be nice for any lane that is deserving, or a first dragon.
I think you know, I think Angel Cake's pretty happy with how he's doing against Cones in the top lane here, keeping him, you know, nice and low on the back foot, keeping the pressure up, even if he's more or less even on CS. I think any advantage that Cones doesn't have is a good thing right now.
I think it will definitely benefit Insert's name here to just... Ooh, the ult goes wide from Fancy there. Envious just walks up and away, lazily to the left. But here comes Envious. He's looking for the all-in. The charm is being held. Fancy does blow the flash. Here comes Envious with the flash into the charm. Nice solo kill in the mid lane for Envious.
A little bit wide there by Fancy. Envy obviously comfortable that there wasn't a whole lot of pressure from Insert Name here, and decided to escape up into the top side.
Yeah, really nice 1v1. The ult going wide from Fancy pretty much just gave Envious the green light to go in and look for that solo kill. Always like a little bit of mid lane action around these parts. So it was nice to pay off for that. And the bot lane has stabilized. It doesn't look like they are trying to push the pace too much here in the bot lane with the Ashe Seraphine combo. Yeah, I think it just shows quite a nice mastery on that Smolder champion to be able to sort of stay up. If only just a couple CS for a little bit, but be in a good spot, because that lane was a pickaxe into a Cull helmet, so the Ashe definitely had the damage to be able to pressure, but maybe the positioning from Pretz didn't allow it.
Yeah, I gotta say, very defensive build here. I wouldn't be surprised if this Doran's helm is once again the Jack of all trades tech.
Most likely will be, so you'll probably grab that early. Otherwise, I think it just leans into Smolder's level 1 or so, just being a little bit more focused on stacking up the Qs. You know, the longer you live, the more Qs you can get off, the more you can farm up, get to that threshold on the passive. So, I mean, ideally you want to hit those 25 stacks as soon as possible so you can accelerate the pace of the stacking.
Yeah, I did just have a quick peek for anyone that was following along on the stream as well. It is not Jack of all trades. It's just, I suppose, to soak up some of the early pressure. Like, obviously Ashe Seraphine, really strong lane, especially very early on. So, just a safe defensive option.
I've definitely seen a couple helmet users in the bot lane, especially Smolders, and one Neela as well. So it is a viable option, especially if you're going to be taking a lot of ranged hits that might be a little bit more mixed damage orientated.
Yeah. I mean, it's working out for him. He's staying even on CS, which is, I think the Smolder's gonna outscale this Ashe. So anything that's not a significant lead for the Ashe is kind of, you know, eventually will end up as being behind.
First dragon being grouped up on. We'll be looking to get taken out pretty swiftly. That's a nice first Earth Dragon, which will help, you know, deal with the burst of this Ahri across the board. Extend the game out a little bit. I'm not too sure who really wants this game to go later. I know that, you know, there is a little bit of a clock for the Jarvan in terms of his, you know, power through that mid game, but they've got the Smolder to really shore up any late game issues.
I think having Braum also, like, it just keeps Smolder so safe for so long, especially once you get later into the game. Like, I don't think that Urgot and Smolder are going to be upset about this game being, you know, 25-30 minutes long, kind of, or, you know, beyond that 25-minute mark. I think Coven would perhaps like to see it close out a little bit earlier.
For sure. But not too many discrepancies in the lane. Obviously, that solo kill went over to Envy. Oh, they're looking to catch up planned here. The Braum ult does land onto the Seraphine. The Seraphine is getting quite low here. They choose to put the Cataclysm on top of Fancy, and Fancy is trapped in the cage and is getting put down. But here comes Windcone Lightning from the Xin Zhao. The Xin Zhao is in the mix and is going to pick up a double kill. A perfect way to get some gold back. After the Seraphine goes down early, oh, actually doesn't go down, after Fancy goes down early, a nice answer from the Xin Zhao, and he is very accelerated, being able to get both dragons and a single grub while picking up 2 kills. That's a nice trade.
Yeah, I think, you know, insert name, in a great spot. Really, I mean, where where would you like to be if you could possibly have a choice? I would think that it's probably going to be, as a Xin Zhao, 3-0 at 10 minutes. That sounds nice to me. I'm fine with that.
Absolutely. And up about 4 camps as well, which is a lot of farming compared to the Jarvan. And so the Jarvan has been poking his head out in a couple of these lanes, looking for some opportunities to take advantage of, but has just not been able to capitalize. And the Sundered Sky, 10 minutes on the Xin Zhao, it's a good spot.
It's a great spot, you know. The slightly ahead on that upgraded smite as well, as you said. Never a bad place to be.
Another fight is breaking out. Pretz is looking for this fed Xin Zhao, but the Xin Zhao is just turning back onto Envious. There are 4 people on the blue team here. Envious gets roped up and he gets shut down by the Urgot. A really nice TP from Fat Cones, but the Mordekaiser has put the Ahri in the Whelm and is whacking away. Doesn't get the kill. Envious is in the mix and kills some Angel Cake. A really nice fight from Kickman and the crew. They commit 4 people to that fight, and it pays off in dividends. But here we go in the bot lane. Catslayer is getting dove. Clan might take 1 too many tower shots and goes down. Catslayer is sliding out of there. 1 more volley. The minions come in to save. And over-aggression from the side of Mordhau.
Disaster is the only word to describe what's happening here. Just in a swift 30-second window, it's... We've gone from, you know, Xin Zhao having a 1.4k gold lead down to half that now. Basically all of Coven's gold lead was on Xin Zhao, and that's evaporated.
Yeah,
not unwinnable, but...
Mind the pun, but the Feline Friends have really clawed back that lead. As Pretz is making another play in the mid lane, Fancy is just getting beaten down. As here comes the Xin Zhao, the Sundered Sky is proccing and doing work to keep him alive. Wind becomes lightning onto Envious. The Ahri is going to get away. The ult just whips him out of the way there. Honestly, craziness coming down in this mid lane as the ARAM has severely commenced.
I suspect that the comms right now in Feline Friends voice call is that this way is, you know, he's quite weak right now. Like, he's 0-3. He's, you know, at that particular point in time was a little bit overextended, and are completely immobile. Even a Braum can come in and gank you, so I think they've seen something that they can kind of leverage to get a gold lead and get some kills, and they're just really digging their claws in and holding on.
And that really just touches back on that point I was making in the draft of leaving the Jarvan open. A lot of immobile characters here, and leaving that Jarvan available just gives that pick so much value. And mind you, Kickman was a mid laner, has transitioned to the jungle, but it's pretty hard not to play Jarvan here as the EQ lands onto 2. The Cataclysm might follow up any second now, but the knockups are going back onto the side of Feline Friends. Mordhau is heading away on this Jarvan. Double kill for the Jarvan. Here's the Ahri in the mix. The Ashe has got nowhere to go as Fatcones' TP is really just for show as he's looking for insert name under tower here.
Wide enough, yeah.
Q goes wide as well. But they are putting him in the bot lane prison, looking to set up a dive onto the Zinzao. He has ult, flash, and Sun to Sky available. I don't know if they're going to be able to dive this guy without him getting one back at least. Does the Urgot ult go off here? Oh, he gets one back. Really nice heads up play by him. He knew he could stand there and tank a little bit of damage. The play isn't over yet though as the Encore lands onto the Braum. We are not stopping here. Wind becomes lightning onto 2. Insert names is tucking his tail and running away. The red buff just doesn't get him as they're escaping again, but Mordhau has showed back up. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a game on our hands.
I think it looks a little bit troublesome when you're looking at the kind of the number of kills and the way that Coven is kind of just getting caught and wiped. Feline Friends look like they're making those picks really decisively. But the lead in terms of gold, ever so slightly still in favor of Coven. And certainly, they're not ready to just roll over and give it up yet.
Yeah, so thankfully, some Angel Cake was on the top side there, whacking away at that tower, was able to pick up the tower advantage, take that first tower, as the Dragon will go down to a smite fight, taken by insert names here, and now Kickman is in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Some Angel Cake is looking for a bit of a 1v1 with Pretz as he's taken him into the realm. He might just whack down and take down this poor little Braum, as they have traded one back, so back and forth we go, as Kickman looked for the steal. He probably should have told his team, hey guys, this is a steal, I'm going for it, let me die if we get it or if we don't.
Yeah, I mean, one complimentary holiday to Brazil, courtesy of some Angel Cake, and Braum liked it so much he stayed there. It's these, I think this is what really shows a bit of mental resilience and fortitude especially like in a Div 2 team. Losing 2 team fights in a row can be the kind of thing that some teams are just go, nah, this is GG, like go next, regardless of the state of the game. But they're still 100% ready to. I mean, fortunately for them, good timing. Dragon wasn't taken when they lost their team fight and could get it out of it. But
no, and a little bit like there are a lot of things going on the map, and for Coven, they've been able to make a couple plays away from this Ahri, and the Ahri hasn't been involved in any of these fights, which has been a huge, because if Fancy's like matching the Ahri on the other side of the map, that is better for Coven because the way is a lot like less useful than the Ahri in these team fights.
100%. Ahri, especially now with the Malignance, that little bit of magic damage and the magic shred from the the little pool, the burn pool that Malignance leaves. Every little bit of advantage, having a super duper mobile mage who can shred your backline is always going to be a bit of a problem for something like Ashe Seraphine. So
yeah, you're absolutely right, Chef. And this Ashe and Seraphine have been a little quiet since that level 1, but the value is always going to be there with the Ashe ult, with the Encore. Absolute demon of a team fighting duo.
Yeah, and I've got to say, fully stacked tier now, Seraphine. So she's looking, no doubt, to go into that new, excuse me, had a cough before, that new support item, the name of which I forget. But she's gonna start dishing out some pretty serious sustain now with Echoes of Helia as well.
We are looking at around 143 stacks for the Smolder here at 18 minutes. Usually, you just want to be eclipsing 20 minutes or so, around like 200 stacks. So a little bit behind the pace of the play, but you can definitely chalk that up to the hectic nature of this early game.
I think, you know, this is exactly what we're talking about, right? Where if Smolder is on pace, then by extension you're kind of a little bit behind, because eventually this guy's gonna outscale you. Like, you can't you can't stop that. If he's even with you, he will outscale you at some point or another. So, you know, keeping that slight advantage is extremely helpful. You know, for kind of delaying that spike of 225 stacks.
Yeah, it looks like they might be going rapid fire second, which will help you stack up a little bit quicker as well. The optimal build right now will be Essence, Black Cleaver, Sojin, or Endless Hunger. But it looks like Fancy has found a fat cone in the top lane. The ult goes wide and just slides out of there. And the Herald will be traded mid lane with that pressure, and a little bit of a trade going down as Insert is trying to find more fights, as the Xin Zhao is very much online right now.
No flash on that immobile Hui, which, you know, we talked about it earlier. Juicy target. But I think Coven have their kind of foot to the floor right now, and they've got so much pressure on the map elsewhere that Feline Friends don't even really have the opportunity right now to capitalize on that.
Yeah, so the Quail did get used on the Urgot. He just slides out of there. Oh, a nice Cataclysm onto 2. The flash instantly used from the Ashe, soon followed by the Seraphine. A nice heads up play by Kickman, and that's great because everybody knows that the Cataclysm cooldown is a lot shorter than Flash, and they both blew the flashes in that little engagement. That should line up pretty well with the Dragon, as they are going to look for a fight. No Cataclysm will be used. The Ashe Arrow hits onto Pretz. He's got the door up. A nice disengaged shield comes out. There's the charm onto Insert names here. He blows the ult. And ults being traded back and forth here. This Dragon fight will have a couple less tools to use on either side. So let's see if either team fully commits to this. Potentially Coven are just going to give this one over, as they do know they don't have the Xin Zhao ult and they don't have the Ashe ult. Encore is also down. Yep, this one's going to be given over. Yeah. But they are going to look for a fight. A flash over the wall onto Fancy. He was sniffing around the wrong area and has been put down. Unfortunate, but a nice heads up play by Envious, just flashing over there and finding Fancy without the flash yet again.
Yeah, it's that flashless way. You know, they couldn't get to the flashless way, but he came to them, and on a silver platter, really.
Absolutely. You know, I think Fancy just needs to lock in here a little bit, as Envy and Kickman have shown that they don't mind pulling the trigger and just testing the waters on a couple of these engages. And if you're not focused and able to get a good rotation off of spells on this way, it's just wasting the pick.
Yeah, I think 100% agree. Way, you know, especially like at this scoreline, like, you know, with his range, I wouldn't have thought that he should even be on their screen.
So we are accelerating the pace of the stacks a little bit. Got 188 on the Smolder. 22 minutes, so hopefully within the next 2 minutes they will get those 40 extra stacks needed. It's a lot easier with the rapid fire cannon. Oh, a nice dodge on the arrow. Just slides out of the way with the flap.
I think the key to success here for Coven in the next engagement, which looks like it might be the Baron, is going to be whether some Angel Cake can find a key target and beat them absolutely senseless in the Death Realm, you know, before they can cause some real damage in a team fight.
Yeah, I think he's going to be looking to try and lock down this Ari, as if the backline of Coven don't have to worry about that Ari. It's going to really help them navigate these fights, as a lot of immobile targets, you know, the way Ash and Seraphine don't want to be dealing with an Ari if they can avoid it, so that will be a nice use. But it looks like he's going for a 1v1 in the top lane. Fat Cones is putting him in the cone piece, and he's going to try and smoke him up, but Fat Angel Cake, just a Fat Angel Cake, some Angel Cake just turns around and kills him, but now he is up shit creek without a paddle, and Cat Slayer is looking for some free stacks to munch down on, and they will give the kill over to the Smolder, who is also going to get a couple of those dragon smaller stacks on the ground.
I do apologize.
Nice 1v1 attempt.
Directed Cam griefing us a little bit there.
Yeah, it took me away for just a second there. Baron has started from the side of Feline Friends, and they have no idea this is going on. The Xin Zhao is farming the mid lane right now. The Ash E does spot it. Now insert names here.
They snipped it. They went, where are these three people who should be in the top lane taking a tower? And, you know...
They called the bluff.
They did. They called it. And I suppose this is now an opportunity where they kind of passed up a bunch of standing gold on the map that they could have put into the pockets of Cat Slayer or Hickman, and instead have nothing to show for it.
Ooh, Fancy's definitely tempting fate here with this positioning, looking for a little bit of that wave. But Fatcones gets caught out there by the stun. They are going to turn onto him. Wind becomes lightning, picks up that kill as Pretz is tucking his tailing off to the side. The dot does kill him in the end. A nice fight from the side of Coven. They keep finding these great picks, and now it's their turn to start this Baron.
Yeah, and I think, you know, good call by them to go straight to the Baron and get Feline Friends off of it. And now a couple of picks, and it's basically a donation. So I guess now we get to see, you know, Hui's at 2 items. He might be a little bit behind in terms of gold, but you know, they're burn items, and for Poke, burn items are still a real problem, a real nuisance.
Yeah, and even with just the Leandres, it's a little bit of durability that the Ari doesn't have. This Ari is, you know, pretty much full glass cannon at this point, and hasn't actually had much impact in these fights, whether it's not a very good use of the Spirit Dash, or just not committing to the fight. I feel like they've been trying so hard to look for the right angle that they've overthought it and not joined the fight in the end. And by that time, 2 of his teammates have died.
Yeah, and I suppose it's always tricky too, because I think they would like to be starting the fights, but the fights have kind of always been getting started on them, and there's, you know, certainly in these last few, they've been getting someone caught out, and that ultimately results in, you know, someone like Envy on the Ari being a little bit maybe out of position or not in quite the right spot where he wants to, you know, where he can get in and get a nice flank angle.
And the Smolder has reached the stacks, has got the rapid fire cannon, which will help them. Oh my god, the flash comes in, hits Fancy with the charm, but nothing else comes of it. Insert names here is able to use that ult for the disengage. Pretz is caught out in the wrong place at the wrong time again. Cat Slayer once more. They used so much but weren't able to get a kill. I think they should just be happy with dissuading them away from this tower. You know, they do have the Baron buff. If they're able to get them to essentially waste the Baron, then that's going to be a big win for the side of Feline Friends.
Yeah, and I think
this Mord is stacking up the money on this bot side.
And this Mordekaiser is a huge amount of the gold lead right now. He's like over half of the gold lead for Coven. There's no, interestingly enough, there are no, you know, individual gold leads on the side of Feline Friends, but, well, 25 to Envy now, but it's, you know, it's pretty close everywhere else. It's really only the Mordekaiser who is decidedly stronger than his lane opponent.
Yeah, that Mord is very big at this point, has picked up 3 items, just 1 item over the Urgot, who's only just managed to pick up that Sterix, which will be very helpful in these team fights, but team fighting on Urgot requires a lot of finesse, and Yeah, so far the pick hasn't worked out in Fat Cones' favor.
I'd like to highlight that I said, earlier in the evening that the kind of indicator that this game is really winnable for Coven was whether Cones was having a good game or not. When Cones is on, all of Feline Friends are on. But so far, this game hasn't really been his to do much with, and so I think that's kind of creating a real hole in the side of.
Ooh, a nice big team fight engage onto Pretz. He's soaking up a lot of damage here. If they're able to get back in here and try and turn a little bit of damage around, they might be able to pull something off here. They turn around to insert names. A big shutdown over to the Smolder. So that's a 1-for-1. That Coven does not mind. I mean, that Coven does mind, actually, is the one problem that they have to deal with is the Smolder in the late game.
Yeah, I mean, anyone else would be the preference for that gold, but such is life. Now they've got to try and. I think it was a little bit greedy. I think there was not quite enough HP on the Sins out there to really go that deep into so much damage. But I guess he was just feeling it.
And being the key engage piece, apart from obviously the Ashe ult and the Seraphine ult, you kind of want to get the GA a little bit sooner. I feel like foregoing the Death Dance, spending that money on the early GA, it gives you another timer to play around. It gives you an engage piece to play around, and that's why you'll often see in pro play, most junglers just go Sundered Sky, Black Cleaver, straight into the GA, because it is such a good piece to have and engage, allows you to dive under towers, allows you to go really deep and buy some extra time. And yeah, it's what the Jarvan's going for this game, and I think now with that cooldown, he's just going to have a lot more freedom to just straight send it on this bot lane.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Like the Guardian Angel is going to really give Kickman a lot of room to go for engages he doesn't need to and make a mistake, or alternatively make a really, really aggressive engage and buy his team a whole lot of space or time, or both.
And build path wise, it sucks building GA. And stats wise, it's not that great, but it's that passive. It's just so good on melee junglers.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking now toward the Infernal Drake.
Oh, a big ult onto Fat Cones, and he just gets absolutely smoked there in the backline. Some Angel Cake putting someone in the realm. Actually, no, didn't end up putting anyone in the realm, but that's a really nice pick just before the dragon spawns.
Yeah, fantastic pick. And I mean, this is really big for Coven now. This is the soul for them. So getting soul here is a really, really great way of offsetting a little bit of that smolder damage, and kind of the whole team with all of the poke that they have to become really oppressive.
Yep, some Angel Cake looking for the pull. He is getting low here. Oh, the Smite Wall goes down, and Fancy picks that one up. That is Infernal Soul over to Coven, and it will be a respawn here. A nice charm onto Fancy. Gets picked up on the backline. He's going more. He's looking for more. Envious is trying to put on the moves. Gets taken out in the end. That's a double kill for the Smolder. Gets turned around. Triple kill for the Ashe, and it ends up being a big fight win for the side of Coven. Back and forth we go, 16-16. Chef, this is a big one, and we're cooking.
They're just, no one wants to give it up, and I think props to Mordhau, because he just right on the edge of that execute threshold that whole time, and just manages to stay ahead. I think largely in part thanks to the Seraphine. Thanks to Plan just being able to keep him alive for just long enough to get the damage out. Piece himself up a triple kill, and now, I think he is a little bit behind in gold on the Smolder, but I don't think he's upset with where he's at.
Yeah, did an absolutely insane amount of damage in that fight. And shout out to Mordhau as well. Was moving around that fight well, got off a lot of auto attacks on multiple targets, so was controlling the space quite well.
I have to say, I'm pleased with how exciting the game has been to watch. I think it's been It's been a a good viewing experience, hopefully, for everyone who's come along. We're at what have we got? 73 people here. Envy says to me before the stream, he goes, "How many do you reckon?" I reckon we get 80 people, and I was like, oh, I don't know, that's a lot. I don't think we've hit 80 before. But
Oh, Pretz is going to get caught out here as the E gets put onto him by the Mordekaiser. He's getting taken down. Everything is used, and Fat Cones is also caught out there on the backline. The Smolder is getting pissed off with his team getting caught out as he's now in the death realm. He's almost able to 1v1 the Mord as he gets out of there, and Kickman's going to pick that one up on the backside. But the Baron will go over to Coven.
I mean, kind of sucks that your most fed guy is now down, or you know the guy with the biggest lead, but like, the most fed guy, no doubt, is the Xin Zhao, and he's still alive. And I think trading...
Depending on the timing here, they might be able to end. I don't know. It's
but
all going to come down to the Smolder because they've got absolutely no wave clear apart from that.
Oh, well, Ari's got a teeny tiny bit of wave clear, and I think, Kickman can potentially force an awkward fight where Ari can pick up a kill. Does still have the GA, but...
yeah, they do decide against it.
Yeah, opting for
now,
the safe
call. This Ashe is come online, has got the 4 items, and is able to do a lot of damage in these team fights.
Yeah, I think
this
Infernal...
form is, it's just not been in the right place at the right time. I think him and Cones have just been slightly out of position this game, and it has cost them a way back into the game.
Yeah, I think this Infernal Soul has been really, really... I think it's a huge portion of just, offsetting that creeping damage that Smolder has. The longer it goes, the more and more damage this guy just keeps doing. So I think Infernal Soul, really great tool for A, just nuking that guy and getting him off my screen. But B, also a really great tool for just maintaining their own damage output compared to the Smolder.
But Hui's doing a good job of that now, is online, 3 items, has got the Shadow Flame. Yeah, has been controlling a lot of the area and the zone control in these fights, so we can definitely see the power of that Hui pick, recently buffed in this latest patch that came out this morning. And yeah, so I think the mid lane power is kind of eclipsed past this Ahri. As you see, the Ahri's gone for the
Banshee's Veil.
The Banshee's Veil and the first component of the Zhonya's. I can't remember what the name is.
Biggest arm
nice
guard.
Charm onto the Xin Zhao, but that's not the person you want to hit. As the arrow is back onto Kickman, gets absolutely deleted, and Pretz almost blown up by the ult as well. Just gets out of the way. Oh, it's looking grim here. They're forcing too many different fights. I don't know. Oh, they're going to look for this Mordekaiser here as he's going to put someone in the realm. He is taking a lot of damage. And the Urgot is on the board for the first time in a long time. Will it be enough to keep the Conclave? It's just hectic damage. Yeah, Conclave off of the base. I'm mincing my words here. It is just too exciting. As the Smolder wave clear will probably be able to keep a lot of these minions at bay while also generating him a little bit more power for this extended late game. Charm going onto them is Envy. Way too greedy there looking for a pick. No one on his team was available to help.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that Coven are in a good spot to end here. I think that they're looking really strong. I think that it would take a fairly substantial mistake to kind of get this lead to the point where they, can't win. 7k up.
Yeah, Cat Slayer essentially has to pop off.
Yeah, I agree.
That is the win con. And as I said, there's so much CC to watch out for. Got the Seraphine ult, got the Ashe ult. Fancy's going to be throwing out Fairs. There's going to be Wind Becomes Lightning being thrown through the mix. And then also there's Mordekaiser, who is just taken over right now.
Yeah, I think it's fight over Elder, and you see who comes out on top. This is the patented Griff Elder flip.
This will be an Elder flip right now, and Fat Cones is asleep at the wheel. He is TPing in, but it might be a little bit too late. They do chuck the Jarvan into the death realm. I'm not sure he's going to be able to contest the steal as the Elder goes over to the Xin Zhao, and that's probably going to be GG as there is a Jarvan respawning in the bush. He is going to try and buy as much time as possible, but with Elder, this Coven team is going to be nigh unstoppable, and they're going to march down the Nexus right now and potentially take game one. Almost an anticlimactic final fight there as the Mordekaiser ult was just a beautiful usage right there as we are seeing them hit onto the Nexus. They're just going to focus down these structures as Pretz is in the mix. The Angel Cake is in the mix, but they're just going to hit away at the Nexus. GG, Coven take game one.
I mean, what a great performance by Coven, really. I mean, they're in such a great spot. And I will also just highlight that Envy did, in fact, get it correct. Either he botted himself to get to 80 viewers, or he just really knew it was coming. We are now at 81 concurrent viewers. This is I think our most watched match, aside from maybe the Tezza files.
Yeah, definitely a peak, which is really nice. Thanks everyone for joining. It's a pleasure to have you on stream for some Div 2 action where all the big boys are playing.
Alrighty, now I have for us a special guest. Hope shortly. I'll keep an eye on Discord, see when he comes in, but we'll have Dax join us for game 2, which I think I'd mentioned to you previously.
Yeah, no, it'd be great to have the beast himself.
Well, and
the call.
Interestingly enough, Dax of course played against these guys last week. Or BL did against FF. Unfortunately, didn't come out victorious on that one, but fresh perspective on what it's like and what they might be doing next.
Epic. No, it'll be good to have some insight, like a boots on the ground insight, so to say, having Dax on board. I'm going to quickly go grab a little bit of a protein shake to keep me all topped off, because this is going to be a big one. Hopefully we can see Feline Friends bounce back after that game 1, because they did have their moments there. It just slipped away from them just at the end. So I'll be back and leave you with Chef.
Well, I've got Dax now. So welcome, Dax.
Hello. Hope the mic's working.
Should be. Stream looks happy. Try and get your volume all good. Welcome. How much of game 1 did you catch?
I caught everything from like 10 minutes onwards, essentially. So I missed the draft and I missed the start of laning phase. So I came into, I think, the first solo kill by Envy onto Fancy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of when it all started to heat up anyway, really. So didn't miss out on too much of the action.
Yeah, it's an interesting draft though. It's like both teams got exactly what they wanted. Like if I could just pick 10 champions for all of both these teams, those would be the champions I would pick for them. So yeah, there's a reason that they're the best 2 teams in Div 2.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the Feline Friends draft kind of just ultimately didn't work out for them there. Unsure whether they, were just unable to kind of make the most out of it, or, whether it's like what's quite going on there. But Coven clearly able to leverage their draft, more effectively.
Yeah, I definitely think if you ran that game back and you said it wasn't fearless, I think they're picking most of those champions again. I don't think that they're going to say that's a draft issue there. They're going to just look at that and go, that was an execution issue there. I think that Cones definitely wasn't looking the way they did last week against Owen. He's definitely felt a lot more suffocated by how good that Mordekaiser was, who was fantastic.
Yeah,
and Envy Kickman looked really good at the start, but they just couldn't get that snowball going, really.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, Angel Cake really just absolutely dominant. Him and Insert both absolutely just ran the show, really. Like, everywhere that those two went, winning team fights were sure to follow.
Yeah, I think that a lot of credit has to go to Insert for picking those really good moments on the Xin Zhao to jump in there. It's pretty easy to as he did sort of in that bot side, jump in and get 1v5'd, but I really like the way that he played this in there. So I think Kickban, this will be a tough challenge for him to face a jungler that's one of the strongest junglers at the moment in this div.
Yeah, 100%. I think you're exactly right. Like, I think Insert is probably maybe not Connor when Connor's on jungle. I think Connor's perhaps the strongest jungler in the division, but I think Insert has his his name in the ring for best jungler in Div 2. No doubt about it.
I'm keen to see how the champ pools develop though, because I think like things like Xin Zhao, Wukong, those sort of the picks that you get and you go, all right, every single jungler can play them. Jarvan as well. Now that we're getting a little bit deeper in, now they're gonna have to start thinking about they can't just pick the staple tried and true Div 2 comps that we sort of saw there. What are they gonna opt to now? Can they pilot them the same way? Because Zin's easy, right? You press all your spells on the enemy, you're gonna win the stat check fight most of the time. Same with Mordekaiser.
Yeah.
Now they're gonna have to reach a bit deeper in. What have they got in the bag?
I think that might be. I mean, historically speaking, and the way that they've played with Angel Cake in other games, I think that we're probably expecting to see him go back to something a little bit more of a tank, something that's traditionally a little bit more up his alley. I mean, like if you're looking at what is most played, like he plays Jackson set, but then it kind of starts to move, especially in the competitive games, back towards those traditional tanks, the Scions and the Maokai and Ornn and that kind of stuff. So
Oh, definitely interesting. Grunky, from watching that game, mate, what were your big takeaways from that performance there from Coven?
he might have.
Open.
He's back.
Yeah, yeah. I'm back. I'm back. Thanks for jumping me back in here, Dax. Awesome to have you on the cast, mate. Yeah, for the first game, I thought Coven had just a really good sense of objectives. You know, they were on top of all the dragons. They even contested one grub there at the end, but they got the herald, and they were just taking towers as a collective. They weren't sort of half-arsing split pushes and stuff like that. And I think in Division 2, when you're able to move your people to different locations, jump on these objectives. It just shows you're firing on all cylinders and you're communicating really well with each other. So I really like that from Coven. I thought that Feline Friends was sort of a little bit more disjointed with what their draft was looking for, and sort of what their movements on the map were. So looking at game two, I hope that Feline Friends gets their draft just a little bit more simple, a little bit easier to execute, and that's going to give them a better chance at winning.
I think for Feline Friends, what I've noticed in the games that I watch with BL, what I watch with Single Box Deluxe, and what I watched just then is they're really good at punishing missteps. I think that Fancy caught that in the first 20 minutes. Whenever Fancy was stepping up too far, that Dragon Pit where Envy just flushes over the pit and charms instantly without flash up. They're really good at punishing those sort of mistakes there. But if teams aren't giving them those opportunities, Coven really wasn't giving them too many chances there, except for a couple Hui moments, which is going to happen when you're on that immobile mage. They really struggle to sort of move as a team to group and to force those fights there to really take control of the map. That draft's hard to execute as well with that sort of style, but I'm interested to see if they're going to fix that in game two, because if they play the same way, I think this is a 2-0.
I think that's a fair take. I think that moving into this next game, really what we need to see from Feline Friends is something that's like a draft that's a little bit more cohesive, something that's a little bit easier to execute on. I don't think that they lack ability to execute on it, but I don't ever think it's a bad thing to have an easy to execute on draft. So I think simple, like just really keep it simple. Give bot lane a strong combo. I was a bit disappointed to see Braum come out in the first draft because Catslayer played a pretty mean Braum Lucian last week, and I think that that would have been a great combo for them to have in lane and have a really good early lane, but something that's got a more effective trigger pull, and a little bit easier execution is kind of hopefully what we see here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely think that one of the things I'm looking for is that getting Pretz on something that can impact the map a lot more. His greatest strength has been invading enemy junglers, getting down that vision in the enemy jungle. He was really good at lighting up those camps there, getting the really good timers on junglers and tracking them. I really want to see him on a champion that can really express that in this game here. Because I think of Kickman as a jungler who sort of takes from the Soltex training camp that I've been a part of there. Once you can start tracking the enemy jungler with your support, it's so hard for the opponents to play. You've got to read them for the entire game. And I know that Kickman's really good at that as well, so I think that that's going to be the real focus is get Pret something that can really let him take control of the lane, roam with Kickman, and make plays happen. And on Coven's side, it's about picking a strong lane that can stop that from happening, which is why I love that Ash Seraph in game one.
Yeah, so we are seeing Feline Friends landing on the blue side yet again, so they will have this first pick. With the Smolder gone, what do you expect, Dax, is going to be this blue side first pick for Feline Friends?
Well, I think Coven did a really good thing, which is ban out the Ziggs, ban out the Vladimir, ban out the Tristana in game one. I presume they're going to go for the same 3 bans this time as well. And that's really been the main things we've seen from Cat Slayer is those types of picks that really can farm well, get a lot of CS early, really just scale them into mid to late game and just let him take over those team fights. Off that, I'm not too sure what he's comfortable with. I know that going through his match history, seeing him play in houses quite a bit with that sort of like the gang that he hangs out with, I know that he can pick up nearly every single champion without any issue whatsoever. But I don't know if they're going to really prioritize bot lane this game. I think they're going to pick something like a Mumu for Kickman and just go for a full team fight comp.
Well,
Yeah.
here's an Amumu, and you like this champ here yourself. So, Amumu, pick one. What do you think about that in terms of how can Coven take advantage of that?
This champ is so abusable. I love the Amumu pick. I hate picking it into a guy that's just come off a 7-2 Xin Zhao game and looks so confident. I completely get why he's doing it. Kickman's just going to try and play into that style of, play around Cat Slayer, press R, and just peel. But I think that Coven is going to just pick some champions that can kind of take the pace, try and take control of this game, and just try and fight them off that Amumu
Melio
cooldown.
first pick. Or
That's
first
very into the
R1.
Amumu, though.
It is good into the Amumu. But
Because in theory, you can, knock the Amumu's Q away with your Q, and then worst comes to worst, if the ult does land onto multiple members,
interesting.
cleans it all away.
I think we're setting Fancy up for an AD mid laner here.
I think we potentially are. If that Lilia's coming out early, and Lilia does farm pretty damn efficiently, so I think they're probably going to get a nice first clear off, and the Amumu early game ganking threat isn't insane if you'd have a little bit of hands to dodge the bandage toss. So she's going to be farming pretty comfortably without her team losing too much. And the Xayah, not too sure I like that pick this early on.
I want to say that I think that if they don't pick Envy's pick here, what he's going to do is sit on his hands and wait for Fancy to pick a 80 melee mid laner, and he's going to pick Lysandra. I think that's probably his most likely move forward. He's done it before. It works well for him. He's quite comfortable on it. So I wouldn't be surprised. And it's got, a lot of survivability and lockdown as well. So it's kind of what I can see him picking here. I think that they know Fancy's looking for an AD mid laner.
And as you were saying, Dax, a support champion that could roam around the map and disrupt a couple different lanes. Blitzcrank is the OG guy for that.
These teams are just, they don't care about what each other are picking. They're just picking full comfort, it seems like, at this point here. I love this Lilia pick. Yeah, I love this Lilia pick from a lower Ela perspective. This is a champion that I cannot play into whatsoever. Probably shouldn't have said that on stream, actually, in case I sub in for jungle. But this champion just counters so many of these classic, boring, slow jungle picks and just ramps that pace up exactly like I was saying that they should be going for here. I think Kickman's really going to struggle in this matchup if Pretz doesn't get that lead and start really helping him out on those map movements.
And a big counter to like slow-moving projectile CCs like the hook, like the bandage toss, is a 4-legged deer that just runs around extremely quickly. So it's going to be hard to lock that guy down.
They've banned Zahan, which I didn't know, like I didn't think it was an Envy pick. They have left open Nefiri, which is an envy pick, and they have left open Lissandra, who doesn't hate laning into a melee opponent. I
Coven
have to
does have
say,
2 AP right now, so they're probably going to finish off this draft with just a classic ADC here, I'd say, and then getting a counter pick for either lane. So, yep, classic ADC pick there. So they'll go with the Sivir. Would it be nice to potentially even see a Jinx there that can outrange that Blitzcrank? But they will go for the Sivir, has the spell shield, a little bit more comfortable against the Blitzcrank, but they'll probably top it off. Obviously, Akali, you can flex that either top or mid. Neferi
there's
will
Neferi.
be the Envy Neferi.
I see Honda Civic in chat saying, don't worry about Envy's Neferi. I mean, I would say the same thing about his Diana, and you guys banned Diana for the entire series against them. So,
It has been left up here, though.
it has been left up, and he's clearly opted not to pick it, but Galio top. Interesting.
I think they might just wait to see what this last pick is, and both of those champs can be interchangeable. Neferi also works extremely well in the top lane. W start with Hail of Blades, if you know, if you know.
Yeah, I like the flex. I think it's a smart option. I think Galio into Akali is a pretty chill matchup for Galio, certainly in lane.
That's all right. It's not the best, but it's definitely fine. And the Mundo. Oh, I like
those
it.
were replaces. Yeah.
I really like this Mundo pick. It's just so low damage on the Feline Friends comp. It's so reliant on the Neferi either snowballing or the Zaya just getting really, really strong with like 4 or 5 items. How are you going to deal with a comp where Mundo's coming in on you, Sivir's in the backline, Akali's flanking you, Lily is dipping in and out? I don't like what Feline Friends have drafted at all here. I'm happy to be proven wrong through a hand stiff, but I think this draft is just too many different ideas and too many people picking comfort rather than having a stable 5 core.
Yeah, they've fallen into the same trap as the first game where it feels like it's a little bit of comfort and reactive in terms of the way that they're drafting, and Coven just seemed a little bit more wise to it in terms of what they want to do with this team comp. I mean, both team comps are a little bit random. You know, there is 2 pieces of hard CC on Coven's side with the sleep and the Milio Q. Apart from that, it's all slows, and Neferi does not mind that at all.
I think Blitzcrank has a really hard time this game in team fights. Like I think he'll be fine roaming around the map and being generally disruptive and a bit of a nuisance. But like, who are you hooking, Mundo or Sivir? Like, Milio is going to be, honest to God, so far away that you should never be getting a hook. Lily is going to be moving at Mach 10, and like you shouldn't be getting hit by hooks on Akali very often either. So it feels like it might be a little bit miserable.
It's a Pretz carrier game. He's going to have to channel his inner carry here for this one, I think. Really start just getting something going in the lane early. But I think a lot of this game just comes down to whatever is on Neferi. If it's Cones or if it's Envy on Neferi, I presume it's going to be a
we have
Cones Neferi top.
No, we just have confirmation in the lobby. It is
Galio top.
Galio top, Neferi mid.
Interesting.
All right.
I feel like Galio doesn't have a great time into that Mundo, but yeah, we'll just have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I personally probably would have done it the other way around, but maybe my read is wrong. I think in any case, we'll soon see whether I think truthfully the thing that's most important here for Feline Friends is that they make really, really good use of how strong Blitz is early in the game in terms of like being able to be disruptive on the map, and get a couple of really good hooks, a couple of really good kills, and then kind of snowball from there.
I mean, the thing that they can abuse is they should have all the control early over objectives. Like, I just presume that we're not going to want to fight with a Mundo and a Sivir before second, third Drake.
Well, and Emilio no less, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like there should be a chance for Feline Friends to do the opposite this game. Maybe try and get some early objectives here. I know that their comp also isn't fantastic with that, but I think that Neferi makes up for it quite a lot with those resets and the high damage that it has early on. Before the slows coming out of the Milio and the Lilia really get to it. So I'll be curious how this matches up. This is definitely going to be a. I feel like this is going to be a macro diff this game and a bit of a hands diff rather than anything in drafts. So we can really point to and say they've got a huge draft advantage here.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I feel like the Zaya is not going to have a very good time. Obviously, there are different elements that are going to be charging straight at her, which she likes, but oh, it's just not ideal in terms of where you're playing this pick. A second pick on blue side Zaya without even seeing their ADC or really anything. Uh,
Yeah, well, I guess
Obviously,
Zaya's.
just a comfort pick.
Well, it's like she's blindable enough. You know, like she's fine. You know,
I don't know.
I'm not looking at Zaya going, this is terrible. That this is going to be the most miserable time ever. Like she's unplayable here. You know. Um, and I think sometimes that's just got to you just got to tank that. Like he does play a bit of Zaya. He has played a bit of Zaya in previous games. And so I think it's just like I can cop a blind here so that my teammates can pick some better matchups.
Well, I'm curious what chat thinks is going to win. Do we had a poll up of who they think is going to be taking this one out?
We do. They think Coven. 57%
Yeah.
think Coven.
I tend to agree.
I tend to agree with that one as well. I think Feline Friends having 43% is quite generous given what I'm looking at right now just in drafts. But
I will
know.
say that I watched the most atrocious game of League of Legends, like the biggest stomp in Div 2 I think I've ever seen. And Feline Friends were on the receiving end of that. And the bounce back from that was nothing short of very significant. I don't know whether you watched the Zinger Box game or not, Dax, but game one was.
I watched the game one where I watched the Yatso just walk through people like they were paper.
Yeah. But I mean, their comeback in game two was equally as strong as Zinger Box's win in game one, kind of thing. So I think something to kind of keep in mind here is that sometimes I think they get a little bit overly confident and perhaps don't lock in enough. And I think that this might be the motivation they need to like actually really lock in, and hand stiff them, as you say.
Yeah, I definitely think that's true. That they sort of cruise it a bit, especially if you're winning all of your scrims by a mile, which I know that they are, and you're winning all your games. For the most part, I know that you're probably going to take your foot off the pedal a little bit. The one thing I do like about this draft, now that I'm looking at it a bit more, is that they put Cones on Galio. And knowing this team and knowing the fact that Kickman said, I will never go top lane, and if my life depends on it, I will never be there. And I think that Envy would abuse any jungler that ganks top rather than mid lane. Knowing that, I think having a Galio that can come down and just go, I'll insert myself into the fight is a really good move for them instead here. So it'll be interesting. If Kickman hits Q on Lilia, the fights look very, very good for them. If he misses, it looks so rough for this 4-Mumu.
I also don't hate the Neferi Galio combo. Like obviously you've got a Mumu as access to the backline for Galio to ult in on, but Neferi can also provide that same kind of access. And so I think that like the top side 3 champions together as a combo are not actually awful. Like it's pretty playable. So I think that they've certainly drafted themselves more tools for team fights this time around than they had last time. So we'll see whether that makes the difference at objectives.
Yeah, it definitely will be interesting. I feel like Coven does just have a lot more options in terms of the flow of the game. If they do fall behind, they have a lot of wave clear with the Sivir. They have a lot of ways to get around the map. They've got some safe side lanes. Pretty hard to catch an Akali on the side lanes. Pretty hard to catch a Mundo on the side lane. Whereas if you look on the other side, Feline Friends, they don't really have a consistent side laner. Sure, you can send Neferi there, but ideally you want Neferi to be moving around the map, looking for kills, looking for picks. You don't want her to be stuck on a side lane. And then that being said as well, Galio is not a great side laner. He's very chunky. He does have a little bit of a mobility, but the wave clear leaves a little bit to be desired, and that's why he's so nice mid, is because you could hit those side waves with your ultimate. Whereas right now, not much wave clear, not much side laning. It's a little bit overcommitted to getting picks and getting CC for team fights.
The interesting thing from Coven though is that they don't have engage. Their engage is just run at them. So that'll be an interesting one. If they do fall behind, this comp is so hard to play because they have no tools to actually pick a fight themselves, except for just sprint at them faster than they sprint away from us.
Well, I guess, if you're going to be sprinting at them quickly, a Sivir ult with a Mundo and a Lilia is a pretty good option.
It is very good, but you're throwing your face in there first, so, if the Cat Slayer kites back well, if Neferi doesn't overly commit themselves too early to a fight, you can get chunked pretty hard before you're able to get in there and do some decent damage, so... There's not a lot of poke from Feline Friends, but it's it could be an interesting one if they don't have the tools to make that fight happen early.
Just touching on that sort of poke aspect, there's I just feel like there's not much reason for Coven to even have to engage on them. Neferi, if she hits 2 Qs on someone, maybe a little bit of poke. The Blitzcrank might hook someone in. Probably is going to have to hook in a Mundo, a Kali, or a Lilia. I couldn't imagine they're going to get close to the Sivir. But that's almost the engage there. The Galio's going to be going in, the Amumu's going to be going in, the Neferi's going to be going in. They just kind of need to sit back and allow it to happen, I feel. We'll see how these objectives get set up. I feel like Feline Friends really have to get to these objectives early, set up some really nice vision, and then get picks off of that vision.
Coven's engages, Feline Friends engaging on them is my favorite comment of the stream so far, though. That is exactly it. Mundo just wants them to engage on him, and he's like, 5 people around me, press R, let's go.
And they kind of don't have, as I was saying, don't have any other options apart from engaging Feline Friends, so hopefully they can find the angles. They've got a couple skill shots that they do need to pull off to be able to get a good engage, so here's to hoping for that. And I've seen a couple good flash Amumu ults from you, Dax, so what's the secret behind it?
You miss your Q, you bait the person to stepping forward because you just miss Q, and then you just flash R them because they just are so focused on your Q they forget your R button. That's the secret. Be so bad that you're actually good.
And do you think Kickman's capable of such a trick?
Nah, he's got better hands than me, so he's going to hit the Qs anyway. So honestly, it's over for him anyway. He's going to hit his Qs and miss his Rs.
Oh, we're loading into game, so we're just about to find out how this one unfolds on the Rift.
I've never seen someone send a love heart in game before. How do you even do that in chat? Send a love heart in League client? That's wild.
There's definitely a bit of aura there, a bit of aura gain.
Let's see if my overlay wants to play ball.
I can tell you it's a really exciting level 1 right now.
All 10 players are in the bot lane right now. They're engaging.
There's 7 flashes, 3 first bloods. It's all happening right now, Chef. Come on.
Amumu in Q level 1.
I mean, we've got it there. I just don't have all the things. I actually don't know why my blue bottle's good.
Oh, damn. We got the absolute vanilla experience right
now.
No,
it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. My blue bottle was yelling at me and I didn't see it.
Because I'm watching in client and not with you guys. What time are you at?
My timer is up on the... Actually, I can... Oh yeah,
awesome.
Grunky, you want to share it? Because otherwise poor Dax is just going to get my shock and my...
Oh,
it's fine, it's fine.
That's I'm watching it. I've got the timer up. I've synced up to you guys.
Okay. Do you have the... Are you in the lobby?
Yeah, I'm stealing Kickman's. I'm watching from his perspective.
Oh,
I got it in.
So I'm at 137 right now.
Yep, perfect.
Okay. I'm a little bit ahead. I'm at 147, 48, 49.
Well,
I can't go. Can I go ahead? Time controls. Oh yeah, I can go ahead, right? So yeah, what?
Quick scoreboard. I'm at 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12.
Yeah. 12, 13, 14.
7. I'm still probably 3 seconds ahead. I'm at 23, 24, 25.
I'm exactly 1 second behind, so hopefully it's not too crazy. Maybe I'll try and speed up.
No, it's fine. I'll
232, 235,
you just count and I'll just pause and resume when I.
230. No, 241, 42, 43,
Yeah, okay, we're good.
44.
Okay.
All right, the counting, the counting stream
I apologize, everyone.
has ended. So
I
yeah,
love Sesame
Galio
Street.
can get some nice trades off early if you're able to utilize his passive well. Does do a cheeky amount of damage as this Lilia Claire is very nice and quick, so is able. I mean, in relative, but yeah, taking this bottom scuttle, Mumu's just gonna take the B. Hopefully head top and get that top scuttle. Has gone for the double amp tome first B, which is pretty audacious, if I do say so myself.
I love it. I love everything about it. Get aggressive, kick man. Don't just sit and farm for 20 minutes. I'm surprised how one-sided this early lane is, though, for the Neferi into the Akali. Double the CS in the first 4 minutes is certainly something.
Yeah, if you're really good at playing Neferi, you're able to hit those Qs consistently, and if you're able to hit that second Q, it is a doozy. And paired with the Deathfire touches, Mordhau getting a lot of damage taken onto him. Pretz is running in and fisting Mordhau in the lane. Too much to see, and Angel Cake is getting dove on by Cone's in the top lane. He does pick up the first blood. He's probably not going to be able to speed away from the Lilia as she picks that one up on the back end. But balls to the wall action here in the top lane. This is the fat Cones we wanted to see.
This is just the Feline Friends we want to see. Aggressive in both lanes, top and bottom, making Lilia pick which one are you going to try and cover and support. I love that.
I mean, this is that whole thing, right? Like if because Cone's like, he loves to fight, right? Like he will fight you at all points in the game, no matter what. And so like if he's getting ahead of those fights, if he's snowballing, the kind of subsequent thing that happens is that if he's permanently fighting you and he's ahead, he's permanently winning, and so that tends to be a really effective strategy for snowballing a lead into something that becomes just completely unmanageable.
Absolutely, and while this Galio typically isn't a carry, he has taken the Hextech Alternator, which means he's going for the Proto Belt first item, and potentially just specking full AP, which is a really cool option. I think it diversifies their damage just enough to put more threat on across the board.
I mean, were we ever in doubt that Cones was going to go AP here?
Oh, he's going for another good trade under the tower. Uses that Storm Raider's Surge to get out of dodge. And he's not giving this purple man any room to scale up. Ooh, tower shot though.
I think this is exactly what they need to do. The Amumu should be able to finish second clear here, back, and then pick if they want to go for Dragon, if they want to cover the top side here for Cones, or if they want to start looking for Grubs potentially in a couple minutes. All three lanes are just hard winning. It's almost impossible for Lilia to kill this Neferi mid lane at the moment. So it's all about, is Cones going to die in the side lane, or is he going to be covered?
Pick the volatile lane. It's always going to be the most worthwhile, as Cones is very much in a bad spot right now. The Mundo ult gets popped. He's going to try and turn it around, but that is all she wrote for the Gargoyle in the top lane. As Fancy is looking for a 1v1 onto Envious. Does miss that. Envious turns around and tries to get the kill out by the skin of their teeth. The red Blitzcrank, the Iron Man Blitzcrank skin, is looking for a hook. Fancy trying to do the fancy feet, but gets hooked straight to his death as the double drowsy gets landed. The Lilia is doing heaps of damage at this level 6 point, but a CC lands. But I think that the flash is going to follow, and now all of a sudden there is going to be a potentially 4-0 Lilia, just a 3-0 Lilia, and it's all gone downhill. 3 winning lanes is just 3 lanes of gold for this Lilia.
I mean, what a snowball. Like, we're talking about Cones becoming unmanageable if he gets a snowball going. I think that it might be insert name that's going to become unmanageable now.
That's just so good from him there to do his second full clear. Had the crab advantage as well. Goes top lane, gets level 6 from the 2 kills there, and then just brings his level 6 into the level 5 Amumu, and there's just nothing Amumu can do about that. Honestly, a really heads up play from him to just be so aggressive, but at the same time, Feline Friends maybe a little bit overstepping there. the stress to try and make plays happen early, having to force that advantage there, and they get punished for it pretty hard. And now a top lane advantage is going to be equalized. Jungle is so far in the Lilia's favor, and mid lane. I mean, Fancy gets that assist there, and it's looking pretty good for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, just put so much pressure on the Samumu. If he gets caught out in transition between, his camps, going through river, or anything like that, this Lilia is just going to make his life hell.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Lilia actually get a little bit proactive about making Amumu's life completely miserable, and going invading, taking some camps. Like if there's nothing on the map to do, otherwise, like I think it's just mission make the sad mummy even sadder, right?
I think that you'll see Lilia most likely look for grubs here. Bot side, obviously Neferi's kind of winning lane, as Xayah Blitzcrank's very, very strong in that lane. I expected to take Crab, leave Dragon, back off, and then look for grub prior, but Cones, he did this as well against Brisbane Logic, where he gets that really deep vision into the enemy jungle. You can see that ward on the red buff right now. And this is what Feline Friends are so good at, is tracking the jungler, getting those deep wards in, trying to just see where they are, where's their next move, and then countering it based off that.
Yeah, the vision has been excellent from Feline Friends the last couple games. So it's just the execution of what they want to do with it. Are they making plays onto people? And at this point, it's just quite hard to get to this Lilia, as by the time you spot her on a camp, she's already done it, and she's moved on to the next thing.
All quiet on the Western front right now as two teams kind of just regather, reset, sort of looking for the next plays.
Ooh, nice hook onto the Milio. Flash is available, but planned. That one did not go to plan, as they are hooked to their death, and the Xayah picks up some much needed gold. Fat Cones looking for the 1v1. The Mundo ult is available. Pops that one to get full advantage of the low HP, and Fat Cones bullies him out for just a minute, but a bit of a CS lead is mounting for this Mundo, which is a scary prospect. And as I said, being caught out in transition is the Amumu. What is going on? Fat Cones a little bit late to the party there, but they do just CC chain onto this Lilia and pick up the kill. Wow. Insert names was a bit of sleep at the wheel there.
Neither jungler knew what they wanted to do there. I don't think... Oh, we'll keep going here, actually, never mind.
Oh, they're looking to turn a nice bandage toss onto the Mundo. They are going to get the flash out of the Galio, but a nice change of pace as this top lane duo of Kickman and Cones finding some advantages.
Park there, plan, says
my
Glizzy. That's so true, mate. You can't park there. It's not allowed.
That's neither team knowing how strong they are in those moments there. The Amumu sees Lilia, freaks out, cues him, and then runs away. Cones goes, oh, we're fighting, let's go in. And then the Lilia is like, oh, I'm 3-0, and you're Amumu, surely I win this. So I think neither side really knew who was supposed to win those fights or what they were supposed to do. In the end, Feline Friends, really nice advantage. Lose the grubs, but get a couple kills, a nice shutdown as well. And Cones is starting to take over this top lane here. Really liking the way he's playing so far.
Yeah, it's very much like what I'd say a locked screen moment where the Amumu's like, oh, Lilia's on me, and then you just click the icon with your ult, with the Galio ult, and then you just send it in and, like, just hope that the fight's still going.
One thing I will say is that Coven are starting to eke out some of those advantages that you just can't ever get back in the form of dragons and grubs.
A fight is breaking out here as Envious uses the ult onto the Lilia. Lilia just gets absolutely popped. And before that, whoa, what the? That was a very interesting interaction there as the sleep goes off just a little bit late. And only the little doggies jump over to plant on the Milio. But yeah, they are finding some nice little engagements here and there.
That was actually a fantastic Milio Q to stop that.
It's
the
this
Milio Q that called that. Wow, that's pretty good.
It's the Blitzcrank pick really that I think is making the difference here now. Like the pick power of that hook at this point in the game is just so unreal. Like it's just so strong. If you land a good hook on a squishy target over a wall that's hard to get to, alright, that's it. See you later.
I completely forgot about the Milio Q stopping Neferi from getting in. obviously the video hasn't come out yet, but if you watch the BL video coming out in a day or two, you'll see that the Neferi struggled into Seraphine pretty hard and kept getting caught out by the Seraphine ulti. There's a dead Galio top lane.
Yeah.
Cone's overextended, punished for it, and I think insert name here is angry and out to, you know, start to snowball this lead. This is that there's nothing to do in the lanes kind of thing. Go and take her camp, get the Amumu, you know, make that sad mummy as sad as you possibly can. Take everything from him that you absolutely can take.
And they're pretty much the same amount of camps down, as both of them are 2 stacks away from finishing their jungle items. But yeah, Cones giveth, Cones taketh, as he was up top and was looking for a fight. And this Mundo takes the first tower, so that's 5 extra plates going the way of this Mundo, so I can imagine there is a pretty substantial lead for that purple man in the top lane.
Yeah, looking about 800 gold at the minute. Obviously, the shutdown, I think, on the Lilia went over to Cones earlier, and that helped to just alleviate the CS difference and the tower gold a little bit.
Yeah, it's only about a 200 gold lead as Pretz is sneaking in this bush. He's looking for something fun to happen in this bot lane, as he's going to appear without warning, and he's going to fire that hook and burn a flash from planned. It was definitely on target, as Envious is looking for the ult straight onto Mordhau. He is in the mix, and he is going to let the dogs out, but they've been put to sleep. They've been put back in the kennel. Kickman just going to clear out some vision and get prepared for the next objective.
This is everything that can go wrong for Feline Friends right now. Mundo's just pushing in for free. Akali gets tower plates right now. That is a 13-minute Warmog's 2k health already active on the Mundo now. And if we can't even get the picks on the Millia or the Sivir down bot lane,
Yeah, I think
don't know how we're going to be able to make these fights happen.
a little bit of a mistime there on the engage in the bot lane. You know, Envy and Kickman were still just a couple seconds away, and so the bot lane for
Galio
Coven.
just to bail Envious out there, as Fancy did look for the engage. Fancy's been a little bit more quiet this game, but I think that's a good thing, as the Akali will be a menace in these team fights, and having a little less pressure on you, especially what was happening in game 1, is always a good thing.
Yeah,
This Galio just doesn't do any damage anymore.
Yeah, I mean, every single time Galio does a chunk like that, 5 seconds later, Mundo's back to full HP, and Galio's staying on that HP. So I think that they don't need to do anything special, Coven. They can just keep playing the map, they can just keep pushing in their lanes, going to objectives, picking them up for themselves. They'll break mid once they get that Herald, and once mid's broken, it's going to be really, really hard for Sneferi to start getting picks in the bot lane.
Oh, but here comes the Amumu. Does have a little bit of percentage damage in the kit, so potentially able to chunk out this Mundo more, but he's just going to run away, but they're going to turn around. They baited it perfectly, but here comes the Mundo ult, has been used, and while this is happening, the Herald is going down to Coven, as it is just all smoke and mirrors from some Angel Cake here in the top lane.
This is the issue with the Mundo in this draft here. It's too low damage. We don't have a way to kill the Mundo, and they get 2 sides of the map they're winning right now. They're winning top side and they're winning bot side at the same time, and when you play League and you're losing both side lanes at the same time, game's an FF at my point, so it's going to have to be really, really good play to get them back into it.
Yeah, I mean, the Xayah is in a good spot right now, even on CS and 2 kills up, so potentially something that can affect the game. But yeah, this Mundo is a menace. And look, 3 more plates just like that. As soon as Fat Cones goes for a reset, he is met with a Mundo who just wants to eat the tower.
I think
Oh, Drowsy onto Kickman on the backside. He gets knocked back as well. Mordhau is looking for damage in the back line. They find a really nice Featherstorm onto him, and the reset is onto the Neferi. A really good hook catches him from way downtown, as Fancy is just left looking at his teammates, as the dragon is finally going to go over. This is the first dragon that Feline Friends have been able to take this series.
That's fantastic from Envy. They're so well played on Neferi to dodge all of that CC and get 2 really good execute kills there.
I think huge hook too, like thread the needle.
Fancy is looking for a 1v1 here, uses the second part of the ult here, but Pretz is everywhere right now, and he is hitting every hook. What a beautiful man And what a beautiful arm of that Blitzcrank.
That's my jungle goat. Steal the kills for yourselves. Get yourselves a Magi's. 20 stack Magi's on the Emu. Let's get it.
Looks like he's going to go for the,
Abyssal
what's it
Mask.
called again? Yeah, the Abyssal Mask, which will be really helpful for the Galio to do a little bit more damage. Unfortunately, there's not much magic res on the side of Coven apart from the Merc Treads for the Lilia. So, not going to be shredding too much MR as we speak.
I think they're just going to look for options and how to chunk the Mundo out in these fights here. Once Mundo joins, so once he's picked up the two side lane, bot lane turrets, it's going to be really, really difficult for them in those fights, in that sort of situation there. So they're just thinking ahead of how do we keep the Mundo down once he joins the fights here? How do we stop him from snowballing us? So I like this Abyssal Mask pickup a lot.
Yeah, and as you see, the Oblivion Orb from the Galio in the top lane is trying to subdue him a little bit more, but yeah, this Galio is just really behind the pace of play right now. Hasn't been able to use ult effectively because he just has to babysit this Mundo who's just whacking away at towers.
I think the flip side of that coin, of course, is that not only is the Galio trying to babysit the aftermath of Mundo pushing his lane, but then, you know, he's creating a whole lot of pressure elsewhere, causing problems for, you know, now Envy's got to come and answer it, and I think at this point in the game, Envy's a much bigger threat to a lot of Coven than Cones is, and so I think that every bit of pressure that Angel Cake draws, got a bit of a fight here, Fancy.
I don't know if Fat Cones will win this one, but he is going to eat a couple of little honey fruits on the back end. The second part of the Galio is going to be used to escape. I was just about to say, this Galio into a Kali lane assignment sounds a little bit better for Fat Cones, as it does give him opportunities to go for a 1v1, but he just gets stomped out pretty quickly there from the Akali.
The Fury's pretty safe, clearing. Oh, great hook.
Oh my god, he's on point right now.
And
a nice bit of storm. Cat Slayer is going deep, is going to get slept under the second part of the tower here. Oh my god, what a beautifully timed Blitzcrank knock up there and a triple kill onto Cat Slayer. Wow, Pretz is a Blitzcrank mastermind.
I told you I had to channel his inner carrier, and he is channeling it right now. That is a fantastic series of events from Pretz right there.
Oh, the way he used that E to knock up the Lilia mid-air on that, I think it's Lilia W, was just insane.
I think Viola River kind of made a comment earlier on that this is Envy's draft philosophy on full display here. Easy champs are getting the kills. And this is true. Like, this is something that Feline Friends have done before, is pick really simple champions that are really easy to execute on and spend the rest of your brain power thinking about playing League of Legends rather than trying to pilot your champ.
I'm convinced if this was a blind, if this game was blind pick, that Feline Friends would end up with the same team comp.
100%.
Oh, they found the Mundo here in the bot lane. They will be able to get down the CC as the passive is down. And lovely dovely, that Oblivion Orb is paying dividends.
That's the Abyssal Mask completed as well, so that's so much percentage magic damage coming through there from the Galio on top of all of that. And they've really steadied the ship right now. That is 7-0 on Cat Slayer. If there's anyone in Div 2 that you could ask me, put 7-0 on them, give them 3 items, I think that's the man for it right there. Him and Anime, the two.
I don't even think that it's just steadied the ship. I think they've got wind in their sails, and their vision is 100% locked on, you know, ending this game as expressly as they possibly can.
Yeah, and as you could see with that tower dive from Cat Slayer getting the triple kill, they're feeling themselves this game.
We said we wanted to see more out of him, and he's showing up this game. Not on cruise control anymore. He's put the pedal down, and he's driving this thing 200 k's an hour.
And has also recognized the need for extra grievous wounds, has picked up that Mortal Reminder, has delayed the Infinity Edge, which I don't really like too much, but it just means that the Mundo, the Lilia, and the Akali healing isn't as great.
Well, and the Melio as well.
Yeah, yes.
There's a lot of healing on the side of Covenant, so there's a lot of value to be had out of Grievous Wounds.
And also that singular Ocean Drake as well.
True.
Can't sleep on that.
I don't think this is contestable.
Nah, not at all. So this will be the second dragon of the series, back to back, as some Angel Cake just wants to go where he pleases. As they go for a massive sleep, they're in the mix. The Galio Heroes entrance is onto 2. Kickman doesn't get a big ult off, but the Zaya is kiting back. Here is Envy in the backline. Is going to go for a couple of resets. Takes out the Milio on the backside. Pretz is left with a very angry Lilia right now, as there is still fighting going on. The Mundo is getting so many heart seal stacks and is taking out half of the team. The Zaya went down with little to no resistance, and a really good fight for Coven. Just as we were saying, the Feline Friends were taking over this game.
That's what I'm still scared of in these fights. The Lilia played that so well, dipping in and out, didn't take much damage, found the kill onto the Zaya with the Akali there. And
I mean, that was a
Baron before.
They might be able to. Good percentage damage from the Mundo.
And Lilia burn stacks up pretty quickly too. But that, like, if my eyes didn't deceive me, that Lilia flashed into 5 people because she saw an opportunity for a huge 4 or 5 man sleep, and that really compromises your team's ability to participate in the team fight if they're all just taking a nap.
Oh, Kickman's looking for an angle to steal this. He doesn't get the steal off. That one does go down to about 1100 HP, but the fight to follow, it does go in the way of Feline Friends. So that's 2 less Barons off of the table, and they might be able to crack open this mid tower as a result.
One thing I want to draw attention to here is something that I draw attention to nearly every time I'm spectating a game, is that this gold situation is a little bit deceiving. You know, we're looking at 23 plates to Coven versus 10 plates to Feline Friends. There's a lot of standing gold on the map that Feline Friends are yet to claim, and like it'll just sit there and wait. So the gold looks tied up, but all it takes is kind of one fight and it'll be completely blown out of proportion.
It's so hard for Feline Friends to get that standing gold, though. When you're versing a Mundo in the side lanes, getting those towers and knocking down those plates is almost impossible with their sort of draft, I would say. So I think that gold's going to sit there for a lot longer. And I think they're going to have to just make do with trying to maybe push in mid lane, see if they can get a pick onto the Sivir, and get rid of that farm bot in the middle.
I think
protecting that tower right now.
I think that standing gold just sits there as a, an additional reward if they get a good fight, and can kind of make something out of it. There's a whole lot there for them to kind of claim, whereas a lot of that is already gone to the side of Coven.
And that is their win con, is winning a good fight. They had to pull off a really nice technical fight where they're using the Curse of the Sad Mummy, they're using the Hero's Entrance correctly, the Feather Storm, all these different elements had to be used perfectly. Whereas for the side of Coven, Mondo just need to go in. And we do see they are finding the Mundo on the bot side. Do they have enough damage? They are chunking it down, as the Heartsteel is just doing so much damage to Envy. Envy might go down here on the backside. Some Angel Cake is whacking away at these two, and Fat Cones is looking for a 2v1 in the top side. I don't think he's going to be able to pull this one off, as Fancy is going to look for the execute. He is jumping around. This ninja is cheeky, but Planned is buffing him up just enough. Oh, unfortunately that E gets blocked off just at the last little bit. But yeah, lots of stuff going all over the map, and as a team fighting comp that Feline Friends are running, this is not the kind of game state you like.
Not having heal cut on the Amumu or the Neferi there is pretty rough when trying to fight into the Mundo. That probably isn't their best decision, but losing all 3 lanes there, they got pushed in mid, losing the 2v1 bot, and then dying in the top side there. This is what I mean by if they're not getting these strong 5v5 fights, they are really struggling to make things happen on the map.
And even a crucial thing, in that last fight with the Baron going down, and then 2 picks coming out of it, the Sivir stayed alive, so they weren't able to get any towers because, as I said in Champ Select, this Sivir is just able to extend the game and really sort of like account for any weaknesses.
I think it's going to be basically entirely on the bot lane here to kind of make something of these next couple of fights coming up. We've got Dragon again in 20 seconds. And I mean, you've got an 8-0 4-item Zaya, like with a Mercurial Scimitar. She has paid the nap tax.
Oh, here goes the Neferi, looking for the Milio on the backline. Kickman throws out a Q as well, but that dog is left without a treat as they do blow the Hound's Pursuit just before the Dragon comes up. And this will be Soul for Feline Friends if they're able to take this, which will be absolutely huge because...
Not quite. Soul point.
Yeah, well, Soul Point rather, sorry.
I think that if you're Coven, you absolutely love that trade of Milio Flash and Neferi ulti right now. How's this comp ever going to kill Sivir? Unless Sivir just stands in front of a Mumu.
They are bunching up in a small area, which is exactly what Feline Friends want. As this Mundo is just running in and destroying them. A really nice knockup from the hero's entrance onto the backline. It looks like Cat Slayer is able to head away on these huge targets. Fancy does take out Envy on the backside. Fat Cones goes down. So does Kickman. But the Cat Slayer and Pretz are still alive. And all of Coven are alive as well. So a big lead is being squashed here and swapped over to the side of Coven as the Sleep does make its way over onto Cat Slayer. Mercurial Scimitar is being used. Here comes the Lilia, is diving in. This is a perfect angle for the Xayah to try and get some feathers off, but a nice W over the wall fires Pretz into a bad spot, and a nice pullback might be able to get a kill, but some Angel Cake is doing so much damage. This Mundo is unstoppable.
I've got to say, he has just been, like, forget, neutralizing just Fat Cones. That whole fight, from beginning to end. Oh, and we've got to pause. That's my time to quickly do the thing where we change back to a different screen.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's too much information on the map right now that, that Feline Friends can gather from a cheating angle, as it looks like there are wards literally everywhere. They've lost all their outer towers, and yes, looking pretty grim. After another great start, Feline Friends had an awesome early game last game, but just overplayed their hand a little bit, and their draft is also coming back to bite them.
Yeah, I think, like I was just saying, like, some Angel Cake on Mundo, just that whole fight was just standing in front of Cat Slayer, not letting him get anywhere near the backline, and basically sitting there going, "Do it, I dare you. Walk past me and see what happens." Heartsteel, Titanic Hydra, and that Heartsteel, might I add, is at 450 stacks. There's really not a whole lot that Cat Slayer can do about that until he's dead.
I think a huge part of that was Neferi just not being able to use ulti to make anything happen there. I'm surprised that Feline Friends went for that fight despite not having the Neferi ulti, because Sivir did exactly what I said not to do. Sivir stood directly in front of a Mumu, got hit by both Qs and R, and still just tanked through it the entire time without any stress, because there was just no follow-up from the Feline Friends side, because Mundo's zoning off your Xayah, and your Neferi doesn't have R. Where's your damage coming from now?
Yeah, and it's the worrisome part about the Xayah, is you love people coming towards you and fighting into you, but when that person is a Mundo that can eat every single auto attack, it doesn't feel as good. And as we have the brief little pause delay bug that is also common here in the OBL, yeah, we're just having a little look, and the death cap getting picked up for this Lilia. So much damage. Doesn't opt for the Rylai's or anything like that. Has just gone straight damage and just wants to murder the entire side of Feline Friends.
Yeah, I'm very interested in why you wouldn't go for Rylai's. I never play this champion, so I don't know when the good times are and when the good times aren't for it, but I love that they've gone, I'm fed, I'm in control of this game. Let's just pick up the highest damage items possible and just be a constant threat whenever I can get onto this Xayah, whenever I can get onto this backline.
I really like opting for the upgraded Zhonya's, as being able to just flash, Q multiple people, ult, and then Zhonya's is just such a good trick to use on the Lilia, as it's a really sort of an easy engage to get a hold of. But look how fast she is. She's just legging it around these team fights.
It's so disgusting. I hate this champion so much personally. But I think in certain name he has to be put down for MVP of this series so far. He ran game 1, he looks so in control on that Xin, and in this game he makes so much work.
Onto the Milio, a really nice catch, but it's a little bit too late, as Fancy is trying to find the backline, does get caught out. Here is the Mundo. Is he going to get cut down? There is no Lord Doms on the Xayah, but he's still able to take him out. Potentially no, the Mikhail's does save the life of the Mundo, as here comes Envy on this dog, does get the reset, and now the fight is turning back the other way. It's going to be almost a clean sweep as Mundo is doing his damnedest. A quadra kill for Envy. That is a crazy fight, and out of nowhere, Feline Friends are back in it.
That's fantastic. And once again, that's exactly what Envy couldn't do in that last fight because he didn't have ulti. In that fight there, they get that first pick onto Lilia, and then he can just go into the backline, kill the Milio, kill the Sivir there. That's so well played from the mid laner of Feline Friends.
I also want to highlight that what they did in that fight is the exact thing that happened to them in the previous fight. In the previous fight, Mundo just stood in between the backline damage and the rest of the team and said, you don't get to play in this fight, sorry mate. And in this fight, the same thing happened where Coven went quite deep into the backline and chased, and meanwhile, there's a Galio tying up 3 or 4 members of Coven, and they're completely unable to participate in the fight until their numbers advantage is completely swung.
Oh, wow. Such a good fight, and almost the perfect sequence of events for the side of Feline Friends. You really want to be able to fight in these really small corridors where you can get the most out of the Galio CC, where you can get the most out of this Amumu CC, and the Xayah just has a clean funnel of people walking towards her. She's heading multiple members. Yeah, it was just a perfect team fight for Feline Friends, and Envy just popping off there.
Once again, it started from a really nice Pretz hook as well. He's still sneaking in really good hooks in all of these fights. Just being patient, just picking his moments, and just sniping that Milio.
I think, you know, the Pretzel fan club probably deserves to grow, even if they don't ultimately come out the winners of this game. To me, he's been the biggest part of all of the success that that Feline Friends have been seeing.
I think it's going to be really interesting, the itemization now that comes out from Feline Friends. What are they going to be prioritizing? Are they going to be looking for a bit more shielding and heal cut? Are they going to try and look to just get some more raw damage onto their champions, just try and combat these late game stats that a lot of them are going to have? It's tough to itemize into this type of team.
Yeah, I think Serpent's Fang is a really good pickup here for Envy. You know, Melio obviously able to dish out a lot of shield to a lot of people with that Moonstone. So you get pretty good value there.
Well, a flash right to the Melio, and she just pops, and here is the Lilia in the mix. Is going to go down as well. The Zhonya's is getting used beautifully, but the Pretz is getting absolutely huge value out of this Blitzcrank pick. Everyone is being dove in on the background. The Xayah does go down. Fancy goes down to boot as well, and this Mundo is not losing much health as the Sivir is still alive, and they're chasing down the Amumu. Unfortunately, the Mundo lives. Mordhau does pick up a kill onto the Blitzcrank, and Kickman is just being run down. This potentially could be an end angle if they get rid of this Amumu, TP into the top lane and take out some of those towers. Otherwise, it's going to be another Kim Drake for the side of Coven, and the roller coaster ebbs and flows.
You got to say, if there's any team that's happy to have a Chemtech Soul in, you know, One Dragon's time, it's the team with the 7-4 800 Heartsteel stack, 5k gold lead Mundo. That's who I would be voting to put a Chemtech Soul on.
Mundo got so low in that fight there. Watching it back, the Xayah didn't quite have enough gold for Infinity Edge before that fight. That might have just made the difference there for Coven winning that fight. Really good pick onto the Milio, but the Mundo just being able to stay in the Xayah's face for so long and eventually kill the Xayah just meant that the damage just isn't there for Feline Friends once again to just finish off these targets.
I think you know, this is now a point where last items coming through really need to answer one big question, which is how do we deal with this Mundo? Because like that fight was, you know, looked all but over for a lot of that fight, and then all of a sudden, you know, here's Mundo once again going where he pleases.
Yeah, and ideally what will happen is the Xayah will be able to sell their Mortal Reminder and get a Lord Doms, because I think that's really the only thing standing in the way of doing a considerable amount of damage to this guy. And just hoping that the heal cut can come from the Amumu, which I think is going to be able to apply it a little bit more effectively.
Zaya opting for a Giant's Belt here.
Oh.
I have to say, I'm not familiar with the build path. Is this going into Hexplate?
I couldn't tell you. Maybe.
Because I can't kind of the stride breakery kind of vibe. Like, I don't know, what do you... Not that you want a stride breaker on Zaya, but like... what?
Potentially a Jack Show, because there is a lot of different
enough.
types of damage coming at you, so Jack Show might be an option. It is a pretty gold efficient way of staying tanky, especially through longer duration fights, but I think right now Lord Doms needs to be top of the list with the Zaya.
I mean...
I definitely think they're going to go Jack Show here, just to try and live through this Mundo a bit longer.
I think, I agree. I think it's a real shame that that Catslayer is the one who's been kind of forced to buy Grievous Wounds here. I think that, you know, he's certainly a good applicator of Grievous Wounds, but does have two teammates now who both have it, and both of them are also more than capable of applying it to lots of people. So I agree. I think it's time to think about trying to get Giant Slayer.
Yeah, it might be a little bit late for that, as the last fight, I'd say, is potentially encroaching, as they do catch onto the Mundo here. They land a decent amount of CC. The hook does go wide, as the Mundo's just running in the backline. Half health Catslayer with 2 auto attacks. The hero's entrance is really nice, though, as they do manage to take out the Mundo. A big shutdown. Here is Envious in the backline, trying to take out Mordhau. Gets the kill on the backline, but Fancy is jumping around, flipping around the fight, and Catslayer and Pretz survive barely. But that is almost the perfect turnaround after losing their Mundo.
These fights are just absolute chaos. It's so hard to keep track of exactly what's going on there, but this Mundo is going in half out from Catslayer, making it so hard for him to play these fights. It's just, he's playing it so well. He's doing exactly what he needs to do on Mundo, going exactly where he pleases, and Feline Friends just don't have a way to stop him.
And yes, Nova, mate, I do know that he has Mortal Reminder, but there is a function in this game where you can sell items and replace them, so keep that in mind for your next game.
Yeah, I think Angel Cake is just saying it's Mundoing time and Mundoing all over them.
Yeah,
Envy
1,000
really well.
heart steal stacks is crazy.
Pretz,
Oh, no.
in big trouble now.
Oh, the blast code!
The Mega Blast Cone out of there. It is. It's Mundoing
Well,
time. You can quote that. I extend permission on Dax's behalf for you to quote that. It's Mundoing time.
His famous quote.
As someone who played Mundo nearly every single series last year and won every single game in it, but one, I think I'm the Mundo expert in Div 2, and I have to say this Mundo's scarier than anything I've ever seen before.
I mean,
Like, he literally just
1,000
walked up
heart
to
steal
Desire
stacks.
and 1 auto attack half health Desire. It's Joba.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think that this is, you know, this fight for Dragon in 15 seconds. I think this is it. This is do or die for Feline Friends.
Yeah, I
Kickman
mean,
Press
we're
is
almost
my better.
even on kills, almost even on gold. Oh, Fancy does get caught out here. Oh, gets the flash, a really nice flash out of the fight. Oh, doing a couple tricky things on the back line. But a nice pick. They might be able to take this Mundo out here, as a lot of CC is going down. The Grey Health is used perfectly for the Mundo. Same with the Mikhails. They do land the knock-up, and it is a very messy fight so far. This Lilia is going to be looking for more picks, as they do know Kickman is limping away from the fight. Neferi is also tucking tail and walking out, and it looks like potentially this Dragon Soul, Chemtech Dragon Soul, is going over to the side of Coven, which is terrible if you are a Feline Friends member.
I mean, I think
that they just have to send it, that
Yeah.
fight there. Mimir has Flash R. We've all got nearly all the flashes on Feline Friends' side. I think you just need to do or die in that fight there and just commit to it.
Oh, Envious kind of caught out there in the mid lane. Just skimps away. But they do have another opportunity to hold on, and the game still hangs in a balance. Still 3 plates on this mid lane tier tower, so if a fight does happen in the mid lane, they might still be able to hold on, even if they lose. Oh, hook goes wide. Oh, they are looking for the kill onto the Lilia. They get annihilated as the Mundo is on the wrong side of this fight. There goes Envy. He's diving into the back line. Everyone gets chunked out from the Sivir. A nice hook, but here comes Fancy. Here comes Angel Cake. They're whacking away, and he sends the briefcase all the way to the back line and donks them down, as that is going to be all she wrote for Feline Friends, as this Mundo is an absolute nightmare.
They're just bouncing, bleeding through that entire team as well. They're just doing so much damage and no one even looking at it the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, what a display from Coven, really. Like, I think, you know, this, on paper, this game could have gone either way. It was close the whole way in, close. You know, I like, even the predictions were fairly close the whole time, and at the end of the day, Coven kind of just ran it. Like, they just owned both games completely.
I mean, it was really nice early games from Feline Friends, and Coven just showed that, you know, they've got it all under wraps when it comes to the late game team fighting.
I think after watching these games here, insert name here has to be down as one of the players to watch for the rest of this tournament. That is one of the better jungle performances I've seen from anyone in Div 2 so far. And definitely marking himself now as #1 jungler in Div 2 and saying, you got to take me down. I'm the best right now. I've got all the picks needed to play in Div 2. Fight me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said from the outset, like, I think insert name here is the guy who gets to make the difference and run the series or not, and you know, he really stepped up, and what a showing.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously shout out to Cat Slayer, both damage, most damage in both games. So clearly, firing on all cylinders, trying to keep this Feline Friends roster competitive. But yeah, just honestly, just little things here and there. And I think for Feline Friends, it was very obvious what they need to do to win. And that's a good thing, you know. If it's like, oh shit, like I have no idea, like, you know, how do we win these games and stuff, I think they just need to shore up on their drafting a little bit more, and then also give themselves some more split pushing options. If they had someone who could answer that Mundo in that game, he wouldn't have been such an issue. But it got to the point where he was virtually Mundoing.
He really was Mundoing.
I think looking back on drafts, Feline Friends going blue side and giving last pick when you're picking a draft like that really isn't a good thing to do. And I think they're going to be kicking themselves for not going red side there and giving Cones that last pick to sort of dictate the lane matchup a lot more. And in the end, I think Coven just played that draft really well, and they've just solidified themselves as the best team in Div 2. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, but super entertaining series. All players played really well and gave us some awesome moments to cast. So make sure if you're watching and you remember any crazy plays, any crazy moments, crazy cast calls, anything like that, to clip it and send it to the Clips channel. We really appreciate when people do that, you know, especially if the players are trying to show off little moments that we might have missed. Make sure to put those through, because we really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Do we... what would you guys like to do? Do you want to wrap it up and head to bed or whatever you're doing, or do we want to bring someone in? I know it's pretty late for you, Grunky.
Oh, I'm pretty chill, man. It's pretty chill. I play an OBL, so I have to stay up late for scrims anyway. So casting is a lot more low cortisol.
I'd love to chat to a Coven member or a Feline Friends member and get their perspective of those games there, because that was a really interesting series.
All right, let's see who wants to interview. Maybe we, or even. Do we want a player, or would we let Coven's coach, perhaps?
Either. All
right, let's see whether they land.
I have to say though, Pret still put people on watch for that Blitzcrank there. There was some really nice plays out of the Blitzcrank. And even though
Oh
he didn't
yeah.
get the win, I think a lot of people are going to be second guessing if they have to ban Blitzcrank 4 and 5 now, considering what he can do in that champion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Their
Alrighty.
plays had me on the edge of my seat. It was really good hooks.
Here comes Plant. Hello, Plant.
Howdy, how's it going?
Good. Congratulations on a firm 2-0. You guys are completely undefeated in the OBL, am I right?
I believe so. I think so, yeah.
I mean, that's
Awesome. No, it was a fun couple games, especially for us casters. How did it feel being on the Rift? I know it was a bit, crazy. There are a lot of back and forth team fights, but was there an overarching game plan that you guys had coming into the series?
Geez, we did a bit of draft prep. We tried to make sure that there was. I mean, I think for us, our take on the team was if we can get our solo lanes ahead, then we can match Cat Slayer, and then we can look to play through like side lanes and then just our strong solo laners. And I think that was pretty well done. So we did have an idea of what we wanted to do going in, but I think in the games they were each kind of unique.
And was there anything that surprised you about Feline Friends today?
Not particularly. I think the biggest surprise for us was the Galio Nefiri. We all assumed that, or at least most of us assumed that the Nefiri was going top and Galio was being played mid. But then I guess it's just the NV Nefiri, and I've never seen cones on Galio, so it was definitely a surprise. We didn't know it was in his champ pool.
No, it was awesome. And another wild card was that Pretz's Blitzcrank, and he did manage to snipe you out a couple times in that final game. So definitely it was made it interesting. But yeah, obviously from my end, congrats on the 2-0.
Yeah, thanks.
Wasn't as clean as you probably would have wanted, but it was very entertaining. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no worries. I think that in the other matches we've had, we've all been very, very confident going in just because of either the meta read or scrim results and stuff, how we play like late game team fights, as you guys are mentioning on the stream. I think we're pretty confident. Against FF, there was a little bit more worry going into it just because, I mean, we've seen how Cat Slayer can take over games. We've seen like if their solo laners get a lead. I mean, we played scrims against them where, their top lane just ran the game on Urgot, so we were a little more worried. But I think our draft went well, and then how we played our in-game fights was really nice. So happy. But that blitz hook, that was kind of magnetic. I'm like, in that last around the dragon fight when I got picked, I'm like, I had flash up. I saw the flash. I knew it was coming, but I just stood there and took it. And I was like, well, all right, report me or something.
Ultimately, it didn't matter because your team played so well around their engage. But from a sport perspective, I'm really curious. Feline Friends are known for really, really good vision in the early game, really deep vision in the enemy jungle. Did you guys talk about that at all and how you're going to combat that? Or did you just try and go, we'll just win through the lanes, we'll get lane advantage, and they just can't get their vision in because they're going to be up against their tower?
Yeah, so Pretz is really, really good with his timings. So if he can find angles onto deep warding our jungle or playing around mid, especially with things like the Blitzcrank with the hook, it's very, very scary. I think that we did know that he was going to do this. We definitely talked about, hey, we got to play safe mid. We call it when he has a timer to roam. I think there's a couple times we saw that he was off. They pushed away, and he was off map. So we're like, okay, he's going to go ward our bot side jungle. Just everyone care about that. Like, they know that we're here. So it made it definitely a lot more difficult. He's a great player, so it was hard to play around the roam timers, but I think that we managed to get it done.
I thought you guys did really, really well into Feline Friends. I thought you came in with a really good plan, executed it well. And the last question I got for you is your teammates in the top side, your jungler and your top laner, who were fantastic this series as well. What's it been like playing with your jungler and working together? Because I noticed you guys really connecting well in that mid game and roaming together. Have you guys played much before, or is this a relatively new team?
So I don't believe any of us, except for, of course, Fancy and Mord, but I don't believe any of us played together before forming this team for Season 2. So it was all relatively like getting to know players, how they play, like what they like to do. I think what I like about our team is we're all fairly chill. I think most teams, can say this, but I think like if you enjoy playing with the people in your team, it makes it a whole lot easier. If you can like trust your teammates to do stuff, it makes the game like super simple because you can just call things and then you know that people will be there to back you up. I think that, Insert or Copper, Insert's a great player. I think it's kind of a steal that he's on our team. Like he's just, I think his jungling is really clean and his comms are great. So it really helps like lay out definitely plans around ganks and objective setups. Top lane, Mox, I don't know how this guy slipped through the ranks. Like this guy is rated like Platinum 4, plays like an Emerald 1. I don't know how he does it. But big shit at my top laner because on the Mundo, Singed was permabanned, but on the Singed, that's disgusting champ and even worse in Mox Mango's hands. Like it's just a terror on the Rift. And you guys know Fancy and Mortar, Cole Smart Shopper. They're just really consistent. They play well. I think Fancy, a couple of deaths in the early game, but I don't know. There's a lot of talk of who the best mid laner in the OBL is, so we'll have to see what the conversation is on that after the series.
I think that's a very interesting conversation to have because Envy's been claiming that for himself. I think there's a couple other people that are claiming the edges there, but Fancy definitely did well in those mid-game fights. And obviously Mordhau was so consistent there. We didn't really mention his name much, but it's because he wasn't getting caught out, he wasn't dying, he was just consistently dealing damage. So, well done.
He's the rock in the bot lane. Like I think with his champion style, it's always like a safe bet to play towards him. And yeah, Sivir in the late game team fights against 4 melees, like there were some calls toward that very, very end fight when Lily got picked. But I think it was us in the bot lane saying, guys, this is Sivir who is just hitting for free. We're doing okay here. Yeah, so really happy with the team. And then I will shout out our coach. We have Nova on deck. He's been helping us with our macro game especially, which I think we've improved on a lot. So if anyone needs macro coaching or coaching in general, I'm going to shout out Nova because he's a great coach.
Fantastic. Well done from us here. That was a brilliant series from you guys.
Yeah, thank you. And GG's to Feline Friends. I think there was definitely points in those games where we were really, really worried that it was just going to be a 2-0 to them, especially after that Xayah got, 7 kills in the early game? I think we were all starting to sweat. So they played really, really well.
No, it was epic. Epic back and forth, and you guys showed a lot of mental resilience, especially in those late game team fights. Just backing yourselves and not giving up and sort of opting to try and fight under your own tower or anything. Finding fights at the objectives and your objective control, I think throughout the whole series was just really impressive. You guys have got a good beat on the safest way to generate gold, to generate leads. I think you were down about 11 kills in that second game, but you were up on gold by 3k and up on towers by like 7. So it was definitely impressive to watch you guys on the map like that, and yeah, keep it up.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Very good. Rightio. I think that probably just about wraps us up then. Think you planned? Good game?
Yeah, no worries. Thank you guys for having us. I'll dip out now, but yeah, thanks for the cast. I'll be sure to watch it back later, and looking forward to this weekend.
No worries.
Enjoy the rest of your night. Have a good one.
Take care.
Bye.
Very good. Well, I think that just about wraps it up for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll sign off here from the OBL studio based in New Zealand and Australia. Thanks everyone for watching. I think we hit the viewership peak today, and that's a big congrats to everyone who jumped in and enjoyed it and helped the cast be special. It was an awesome game between two Div 2 powerhouses. Obviously, Coven came up on top with the 2-0, so stay tuned. We'll have some more casts this weekend, obviously highlighting some more fun matchups, so make sure you look out for announcements and all that stuff. And obviously good luck if you are playing. This is a pretty big weekend in terms of who's making it to the big boy playoffs for both divisions and that kind of stuff. So good luck to everyone, and hope scrims are going well this week.
Very good. Thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Not a problem. Thanks for coming, Dax, and we'll see you all no doubt a little bit later in the week.
Yep, thanks Dax, thanks Chef, and we will be mundoing our ways out of here today.
Bye-bye.
Bye.